Okay. Hi, everybody. Rolling audio. Rolling video. All the things are rolling.
Like the wheel. Don't reinvent it, just realign it.
Hold on, let me go ahead and mute that channel. Okay. All right. So we rolled Destiny. It's very even. We rolled Duty and whatnot. It's very stuff. Whew. Ooh. What side is he doing? Okay. All right. Okay. We're going. We're rolling. Well, yeah. I'll go ahead and read up the patron intro while you guys think about stuff.
Okay.
Right. So I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Ahanga Comics, Architect 10, Blackest OG, Carlos Quad, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, I'm getting Bob, Soda Zone over to our 723 things that great. If you like we do want to see the markets, there's a Patreon, you can access episodes and stuff like that. And helps us out.
Thank you.
Monster. All right. So for some reason I'm a little bit groggy, but I will persevere. So, you guys got some experience last time. Did you spend it on anything?
Okay, I'll go first. I got Gunnery 3.
Bang,
Okay.
bang. I guess I'll go next. Aramaa, but... General.
Ooh. Apologies, I'm still inhaling my food over here, but I have not bought anything with my experience. I'm still banking up, and I'm planning on making a big purchase after this session.
Mm-hmm.
I'm banking mine because next things I'm getting are 20.
I'm currently at 75 experience points saved.
Huh.
What are you gonna buy that costs 75 experience points?
He's gonna probably
Oh
buy...
no, I'm just gonna buy. Thinking of buying a new spec and then just buying several talents from it immediately.
That is a way to do it. Will anybody ever buy a signature ability? Who knows?
I mean, technically, I already have it.
Okay. Addendum.
Just
Will
haven't really
anybody
used
ever use a signature ability?
There we go. Yeah, that's the right one.
I mean, yeah.
All right. Okay. So last time we left off in the middle of the night. In the heat of the night, the people will find you. Something, something. I don't remember how that song goes. Anyway, there was a fire, and then you put it out.
Mm-hmm.
Go you. What's that sword? Weird. Okay. Anyway, I believe the next step, basically, you guys had was after waiting for morning, or whatever. You guys, because you wanted to see about the recovered fighter wrecks, basically.
Yes.
Sorry, a little burp.
Gilbert.
So you guys are basically going to reconvene, and I figure after the thwarted attack, that's probably what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is, after chilling for a few hours, you'll, reorganize, and everybody will reconvene back at the base.
Mm-hmm.
Back at your mobile Juggernaut tank base.
Good old Sierra Mobile.
Which you guys can accomplish because you guys have the bikes. And so, yeah, you can all gather back up together.
All right.
Be ready to do some investigation.
Yeah. So the plan here is basically to get to the craft and see if we can salvage any sort of data that might let us figure out approximately where they were shot down from.
Alright, the whatever black box.
Well, flight computers, something, I don't know. I don't even know if we can access that stuff with stuff, but I don't know. I gotta look.
Okay.
So, but after that, we definitely know that there is some spooky, scary, red-black droid bombers going about blowing shit up. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily know why they're doing it. My inclination is leaning towards a test or an agenda, not so much a straight out military operation. So with that, once we get done with the investigation, we'll probably start heading into the canyons. From what we understand, that's probably the best point to hide something, like, I don't know, maybe a secret base where they are launching fighters from. I don't know. It's just me. It's just me.
Yeah, that would be the place. All right. Okay. I know it's only been 5 minutes, so hold on, everybody. I gotta go pee.
Righto.
All right.
Pause the thing. Gotta get up and walk around, go to the bathroom. Sorry about that.
Bro.
Right, I'm back. Went to the bathroom, splashing water on my face. You're running a little hot. All right, I'm focused. Okay. All right, so you're regrouping. Back at Old Dog.
Old Dog.
This takes you and everybody else basically a little bit of time because you're, cruising with vehicles and stuff. And a lot of the guys are on foot. So the mayor has basically, as you find out, let you borrow, loan, whatever you want to say, an old warehouse for some interior space, kind of a covered over building. It's not, the doors aren't big enough that you can roll Sierra Mobile into it, but you can roll your tanks inside and it gives you some quiet space to work. And when you guys basically get back and do a head count, this is where you find out that, came up with a name, but I forgot it. Whatever farmer reported the, crashes on his land the other day, they got the flatbed and, recovered all the stuff and moved it over.
Okay.
So basically inside you find, a couple of rolled up tarps. And yeah, it's just covered with clone engineers, probably a couple of probably basic tech and recon droids, like maybe a couple of Astros and stuff. You guys didn't come loaded to bear with CSI robots, so while there are droids for that, you didn't come to bear. But
I was actually been thinking we might be needing to buy droids for stuff like this.
Sure.
there's a couple of various service droids that can do some stuff like this, yes.
Yeah.
But for now you are you're kind of brought over after Shark gets everybody together. You're kind of brought over to a clone lieutenant. He's RS. He's your head engineer. RS stands for rocket surgery. He's got a very methodical, level-headed kind of way of doing things. And even though he's wearing, engineer's gear, he's got like the sterile surgeon-style gloves, but they're covered in like motor oil and hydraulic fluid. Wearing a tool belt, got some grubby stains, and basically once you guys roll up, probably get your morning calf, eat your powdered eggs, suck on that morning protein paste. He, calls you over and is like, Generals, we've got some initial findings here. And he kind of stands near the two wreckages.
I'll go over and be like, report.
All right, he gestures with a data pad. All right, we recovered what appears to be Flight 115. These are two V-19 Torrent fighters. As you can see, we've separated out the wreckage as best we can into this one and this one. He gestures at the two, which are, like I said, are rolled out onto relatively sterile tarps. At a distance, you can see that a couple of these are... The two different fighters are in kind of semi-different states. But yeah, they are wearing your unit markings, and you can kind of see some resemblance to the geometry. And he's like, we're attempting to salvage flight recorders now, punch up some data, but preliminary findings are pretty... Well, it's a little interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this one, he points at the slightly more broken up looking one. You guys can, if you want to like double check any facts or do anything specific, you guys can make rolls in a second. But even at a glance, you guys can tell this one looks like there's more scoring, more damage, to the shell. This one's been, it's in smaller pieces, right? As you see a couple of clones with some droid assistance, like, picking up a piece of the fin and, like, matching it to another fin, stuff like that. All right. This was the lead unit. Actually, no. This was the trailing unit. Backup pilot. We we have managed to reconstruct the rear half, and it looks pretty basic. Repeated scoring from light lasers or blaster cannons into the rear fuselage.
Okay.
Rupture the fuel cell. Ship went down hard. Hopefully, the pilot was killed on impact, if not before. And there are also, unfortunately, there's a couple of white-wrapped bags also laying on some tarps over in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
No exact details on the strike, but it appears to have come fast from his blind spot in the rear sector. Probably snuck up on passives. Took him out before he could respond. We're pulling the flight recorder for exact details, but it doesn't look like there's any signs of a major struggle or anything. None of the missile payloads have been dropped. Luckily, there were no secondaries from the ordnance. They've all been secured and recovered. Now, here's the unusual thing. This one, he points at the, honestly, more intact-looking fighter. Like, most of the core fuselage is intact in the second one. Especially you guys can clearly see, like, the engine block and the rear fins are still left intact. And he points out, so this was our lead fighter. Now, we haven't quite found the front, and all the front ends to be sure out of the mess, but we've managed to reconstruct it mostly. This fighter has no signs of external damage.
None.
Yeah. It appears to have been a crash landing. No immediate signs. We're gonna double check the flight computer extracts right now. But I need you to take a look at this, General. Walk with me.
I'll take a walk.
All right. He walks over a couple to another tarp where you see 2 sets of recovered pilot gear. These are the full helmet with the respirator type.
Yeah.
He grabs one of the helmets and fishes it up and holds it up to you. You see that this helmet, right over one of the eye holes, has a nice big, you'd say probably somewhere between 20 and 30 millimeter hole, which also exits the other side. So, we haven't found the cockpit yet, but when we figure out which bits go with that one, I'm pretty sure we're going to find another hole through it. Now, you'll notice he gestures around the hole with one of his gloves. There doesn't appear to be a lot of carbon scoring or burn marks, as you'd see with a blaster. I am not an ordnance expert, but if I had to guess, this was a mass driver round. Punched clean through the cockpit, killed the pilot instantly. Pilot goes down. Since this was the lead fighter, his wingman was busy trying to figure out what was wrong, and the enemy snuck up behind him. That shows coordination and definitely some mixed unit tactics. They were probably flying at a low altitude for a visual pass, but that's still quite a lot of shooting. I think Captain Shark is checking the topography, but it looks like the highest formations to be on about that altitude for firing would have been, 3 or 4 clicks away. Sets the gear down.
Okay.
Those are just my preliminary findings, of course. Medical's already run autopsies on the unfortunate pilots. Seems pretty consistent. But sorry, yawn.
No, don't worry. I'm kind of low energy too.
It's okay. We'll get there. Or we won't. Whatever.
Whatever.
It's the game.
That's how it is.
Okay. But yeah, so basically he sets the helmet down and it's basically like, that's what I've got right now. We're waiting on engineers to see if we can recover flight recorders, piece all the bits together, but that's what I got.
But how long do you think it is before the tech heads get everything assembled?
Well, he shouts over, "Hey, you found all the bits yet?" And he's like, "Yeah, we got all the essential bits." All right, I say, checks a wrist chrono. Probably 30, 45 standard minutes before we can do the debrief and decryption protocols.
All right. Okay. Aramaa just kind of nods to herself and like, all right. Good work, that soldier. And so, like, as soon as you get that stuff to decryptment, hail me on comms.
Roger, General. All right, back to work.
Aramaa,
He goes off to mind his own business.
Aramaa picks up the helmet with the hole in it and just gives it the dirty gives it a dirty look.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually gonna ask Omega, how many white tops are there?
2.
2? That's all the tops we have of pilots?
There's only 2 ships.
Yeah, 2
Okay.
boats. 2-man flight, 2 kills.
So, mass driver. How many kind of ships have... What kind of mass driver weapons are there?
There's a variety. There are some man-portable weapons. The Verpine make very robust magnetic weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are also certain planetary defense guns that are mass drivers, though you're pretty sure that would be a higher caliber than this.
Yeah.
That's not counting, there's some interesting hybrid weapons like Tusken Cyclers or Wookiee Bowcasters, which use a mixture of energized solid shot munitions. There's a lot of weird shit in Star Wars, okay?
We're just thinking it could.
So someone just pulled off like a hell of a fucking shot.
I just imaged like some kind of like aerial sniper, with like the wiggled style.
RS isn't too far away. He's, he can say, well, General, I actually could probably bet that if Camo over there had a perfect picture of the target through some kind of remote data, he could probably pull off a 4 or 5 click shot with a sufficiently energetic weapon. Couldn't be a blaster, though. That's way too far. Plasma disperses over a distance.
Need something slug based to like have enough air tension.
I've heard that, Verpine heavy shadow rifles, punch through an armored man at least that many yards, but I don't think that's quite the same way. I think those munitions are smaller.
There wasn't any traces of the actual like projectile.
We haven't run any heavy-duty spectroscopy. We can take the helmet in for a detailed analysis in a sec, but no initial traces. I'm pretty sure it punched clean through. Torrents aren't shielded, you know?
Fair.
That's a lot of range. Jeez.
Yeah. That has me worried.
Magnetic acceleration, not that crazy. I mean, you
It's
can
not
hit a
that-
guy with a
It's like,
you can hit a guy with a Barrett from like a mile or 2 away.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, what RS chimed in there for was the shot itself's not that crazy, assuming that, like he said, if these were droid ships that were networked to somebody, another droid could have made this shot very easily because he would know exactly where he's shooting.
Yeah, like a trained sniper unit.
Well, that just means that's something we have to be careful of when we wander around at night, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I'd be more concerned with the armor. The Juggernaut will probably take a round of that caliber, no problem. But there are some structural points on the saber tanks which would not be happy. Though saber tanks do actually have light deflectors, so I don't know if that would. A nice round of ray shields might do it.
Okay.
I am for proof sitting around here.
The what?
If the Separatists have it... Oh, sorry.
No, keep going.
If the Separatists have a new toy and they're using it to test it out against random patrols, this probably isn't a good sign in case they decide to, not particularly mass produce it, but just have it in droves to use against us.
Oh no, we definitely don't want them having any sort of fun toys. Alright, well, I don't think there's much we can do right here unless you two have an angle you want to. Excuse me, you three have an angle you want to investigate.
If there's no casing
we
from
just
the
skip this.
shot, I got nothing else right now. Should probably just go for more proof.
You know, Wevu, you're pretty good in the air. What are your thoughts on this?
Uh, hmm. Well, I've never been shot with whatever this one's been with. There have been separatists that have taken pot shots with rocket launchers.
Hmm.
Or
So what
any,
does this may sound? Oh, sorry.
or any sort of ground-based anti-air weapons that are enough to punch through any sort of armor the small fighter could have.
Yes, this is clearly some kind of anti-material caliber.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Hmm.
I actually need to check. I need to see if the stats are, because I think depending on the canonicity, the ATTE actually, their main weapon is a mass driver turret. Enforcer.
Okay.
Yep, dorsal mounted mass driver turret.
Okay.
So this would be, again, something smaller than that, but yeah.
Something
That
smaller,
that
but
isn't
with,
occasionally used as a main weapon type attack.
All right. So
something
smaller,
smaller, but
more.
with similar punching
Oh,
capabilities.
yeah.
I would
Portable.
say, well, maybe not similar, but this is something man portable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So smaller, so it's portable, so they can move around easy.
Probably wouldn't be good for taking serious pot shots at your actual armored vehicles.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Need to.
Armor 2 with some robust defense, but it's got a decent hull. Might be
Probably,
a concern.
yeah, probably just some portable AA gun.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we can't really think of a thing. We might as well go get some calf or something.
Yeah. And
It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
yeah.
To the best. All right,
Calf
calf
up.
acquired.
Do.
Man, do I actually need to hang on? I'm gonna go get me a fucking monster. I'll be right back. Hang on.
All right. I feel like Lucky needs it.
This low energy. Oh, look, titties. This low energy has to go.
I think his energy came back up as soon as he like willed himself to do a thing.
Fucking think.
Yeah.
Brains engaged.
Need to.
So, do you guys want to do any of the investigating on your own?
I'm not really sure what else would investigate right now.
Yeah,
besides
probably.
going investigating the canyon.
I mean, you guys have
On the
mechanics.
other-
You could make your own
Well,
judgments.
yeah, I'll
Yeah, sure.
I'll help out Axe with that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That would do it.
So just add a boost.
All right.
Right,
Well, if you want to do
make
your
sure.
own examination of the fighters, you can go ahead and give me a average mechanics check.
All right.
Okay.
Can I do an autopsy? Or did we already
Yeah, you can
establish that
confirm.
they
They've
did
some of the other medics have already done a prelim, but you can confirm. Make me an average
Okay.
medicine check.
Okay, I'll wait for
Okay.
these guys to do their thing first.
Second
Ah.
opinions are okay.
That's kind of unfortunate.
You're working. 2 advantage. All right. I mean, that's pretty simple. Basically, you guys don't learn anything new. You're pretty sure that the preliminary conclusions are correct. One of the fighters was clearly hit by vehicle scale laser fire. The Torrent is not particularly tough as far as light fighters go. They are they're decently agile. But if you come at them in quick in their blind spot, strike them from behind, hit something important, fighter went down. And definitely, like we said, the other fighter doesn't appear to have any external signs of damage other than the front is fucked up.
Hmm.
Actually, fuck it, you rolled 2 advantage. You don't find anything new, but you do find the front cockpit bubble of the first torrent, the lead torrent fighter.
Mhm.
And yes, there is in fact another somewhere between 20 and 30 millimeter hole in it.
All right, that confirms that.
This is why we make
Okay.
ray shields, kids.
And you said average medicine check for me, right?
You're basically just reconfirming what the guys did.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, no. It's not great. I mean, well, the guy who took a mass driver round was pretty dead. Like that, he that was a pretty instant lights out.
don't know
Okay,
if
at
it's
least he
not
didn't
fine
suffer
today.
through it, but look at how much fucking advantage that rolled. God
It's a
damn
lot of
it.
advantage, yeah.
Only
Um,
one success out of all of that.
You do find some comfort in knowing that the second pilot was in fact killed on impact. He did not suffer through the burning to death in his own fighter or anything like
Okay.
that.
That's good to know, at least.
And yeah, it's pretty cut and dried.
Yeah, we probably should just get to the canyon or start going to the canyon, like investigate more.
No, we're gonna wait until the tech's finished doing tech stuff so
Yeah.
we can get the finish the rest of the report. He only said it's
Yeah.
gonna be like half hour. So
Yeah,
Right.
sit down,
Yeah.
right.
drink
So
half.
yeah, you guys bunk
That'd be
down.
awesome.
All right.
Yeah, bunk down.
All right. They pull the flight recorders. Run the data. They're a little damaged, but these things are designed to be kind of similar to black box. They're designed to be robust,
Mhm.
and they're military. That's just they're encrypted, so it takes them a little run through the security. Basically, RS comes back with a data pad, gives you the report. Basically, pull the transponders, comm logs, sensor logs. With a preliminary skim, it's basically confirms the story you guys are expecting.
Mhm.
The lead ship's data recorder is actually pretty intact. They were just cruising along, doing a standard flight pattern. It was just after dawn. They were, running a little slow. Sensors, high, scanning for anything unusual. And then basically the computer reports a sudden loss of control,
Mhm.
pilot error, basically, and then it careened into the ground and ceased to function.
Do we have any?
Second one.
Sorry.
Second one basically is a wash of damage reports. It kind of expands a little on what the techs theorized. It looks like there was a double pass. Like the sensors did an initial wave of impact, and then there was a second wave, probably fighters doing their own wingman procedure.
Mhm.
Basically came out of the pilot's blind spot, weren't running active sensors, so they came out of a cloud, showed up suddenly. Double strafe, hit the main power generator or something. Ship burst into flames and went down.
Okay.
You do have their rough positional data, and it does appear that they were out over the farms area in the Delta. Not too far from where they crashed, obviously.
Mhm.
Just running a routine patrol.
Well, I think our next business before we hit the canyon is we head out to this area and see if we can find a pot where someone can take a sniper shot at a low flying fighter. Unless anyone else got any other idea?
Actually, there's a question.
What's up?
On
Well,
the angle
okay.
on the pop shield, was it from an upward or downward angle or a straight angle?
Straight on.
Straight on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Possibly with some ballistic arc to it, because physical
Gotcha.
munitions. Well, yeah, you don't have to go out into that area to do a check. Like I said earlier, Captain Shark pulls up a topographical
Oh,
map
yeah,
and
we
is
just get a
basically
map.
like, yeah. So this bit around here, where you get to the outer reaches of the Efiano region, the highlands where the canyons are. This is probably your best shot from about here. We can go investigate, though. If it's actually a sniper, I'm sure they will have displaced by now. But if that might explain some of the small vehicle casualties we've seen, civilian speeders taking pot shots, stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, I'd rather not leave this stone unturned. Gather up some of the boys, take a couple squads, go to boys, and check out and see if our sniper left any clues behind. Not expecting much, but you never know.
Yes, sir. All right, I need some volunteers. Who wants to go climbing today? Goes out, grabs some light infantry, Probably a couple of marksmen's hooks
Kind of
everybody up
calibers.
with climbing with their climbing belts and jetpacks and stuff, and
And ascension guns.
goes
Kind
off
of.
for a wander.
High enough caliber slug guns. Usually, like when the casing's released, it's usually hot enough to burn the ground around it. So usually, unless they have a mat under it, there's gonna be at least some burn marking. Even if they take all the evidence else away.
Well,
I'm
So for
sorry, I
somebody
completely
complaining about
missed
being-
all of Axe's mumbling just then.
no,
Yes, Axe is very quiet right now.
Sorry.
Max was just talking about, leaving behind signs of shooting and stuff.
Yeah, ballistic evidence.
Yep.
Well, we'll check on them. It's probably going to take them a couple of hours to hoof it.
All right. Well,
Sorry if I was. Just...
No, that's fine. That's fine.
You're a little quiet. It's fine.
My volume.
Everybody's kind of lower energy, but yeah.
No, it was more of like
Yeah.
my vocal inflection is dependent on my volume, so it's like it's hard for me to do a certain kind of voice unless I'm quieter sometimes.
Anyway,
Anyways,
we're all
so
here. Dialed everybody up.
all right, so we have gotten a bit of information. We have set out a team. Fortunately, I don't think there's much else for us to do except maybe start looking for a secret separatist base in the canyon. Now, we do know that there are... excuse me. That there seems to be some undesirables in the area, so let's keep that in mind as we go. And see if we can get this done.
Okay.
Let's see here.
What's your plan of attack?
That's what I'm thinking about. How much in force do we want to roll out with?
Yeah.
Well, if you consult, you do have Captain Motorhead with you because he rolled out with the tanks.
Yeah.
He would admit that, honestly, while Sierra Mobile's a good starting place, it won't be able to
No.
fit in all the narrow terrain.
No.
It's not really an off-road vehicle. It's more of a I am my own road vehicle. Probably need to detach some units on bikes. You could call for reinforcements for some additional vehicles, like get a couple gunships loaded with spare bikes. You could probably get a faster and quicker sweep, but if those guys are actually using anti-vehicle weapons, that would be more vulnerable. Ideally, actually, it would be a lot slower, but what you want to do is, call up a couple of cargo gunships and drag some ATTEs out here because, they're all the AT stands for all-terrain, and they are very rugged, robust vehicles that are great at uneven terrain, but they're also big and heavy, so they'll probably take you. Oh gosh, I don't know. What's the flight time from over here? Let's see. It's a couple of days overland. It's probably a decent chunk less, but they're heavy, so that's probably going to be, maybe a quarter day flight, and then you've got to deploy them. They're not fast.
How good are you said what did you say, AT-ATs?
ATTEs, yeah.
ATTT. Ugh.
The all-terrain tactical enforcer. Your bug standard walkers.
Yeah.
Let's see here. How good are they at anti-air?
I mean, those are the mass driver ones. They've got a big dorsal turret.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. I had to look it up quickly.
Yeah, no, I got a Star Wars. Know your vehicles. Pretty sure it's in there.
Yep.
I'll look at it real quick. See how many people we need to.
I'm pasting a picture into the chat.
Okay.
Basically, this
Oh,
walker.
interesting. You can base it on the.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Oh, that's not it. That's not. Oh wait, this is it. Okay, sensors, 5 gunners, 1 medical droid, 1 commander, 1 pipe spy.
Alright, so it is the thing that.
Wait,
Sorry.
what are 2 ATRTs? Heck.
One up.
Oh.
ATRT.
Oh, recon transport.
Yeah, those are the small scout walkers.
So yeah, it's the thing that was modified in Rebels. If you ever seen that one, the one that
I mean, it's the standard
was
issue
in.
clone walker, so you see them all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
You guys were based in these. This is a big chunk of Sierra's mechanized infantry power is in TEs.
Oh yeah, no, didn't we take them for the fucking
Assault.
yeah.
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 Assault, yeah.
I remember just getting a different. I think I remember a different angle of them, so maybe that's. What
I just remember fucking having to deal with commando droids crawling up the sides. I was like, ah.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, what do you think? We should call one or two of these, or should we push in with bikes and saber tanks?
How long will it take for them to get here?
By rough estimates, about anywhere from quarter to half a day.
I also don't want to alarm anybody, but procedure would be we'd have to scare up some air escorts too, just because I don't think the enemy's going to appear in the middle of the day, but they have confirmed shot down at least 2 fighters.
Yeah, so definitely leaning towards half a day.
Also, not, again, I am merely a captain, but I would not say no to close air support. Well, actually, I suppose we could take LAATs and patrol the canyon. That might be a little bit of a big target.
No, I'd rather, if I'm gonna go crashing into the ground, I'd rather be something that's relatively close to said ground.
Right.
But
I remember the start of this campaign.
I've heard that, at least according to the pilots, an all-terrain tactical enforcer does not crash. It merely advances uncontrollably.
That's what they'd all say.
It advances into the ground.
Anyway, actually, let's see here. We have a couple saber tanks. I'll go to saber tanks at off road.
I mean, their repulsors. Let me find what's their max out. Maybe max altitude 10 meters. That should get you over most uneven terrain.
Okay, it is the tank I'm thinking of, just the one from basic bits and bobs.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
If you ever played a Star Wars Battlefront game, those are just the tanks the clone troopers have.
Yeah, big wedge-shaped tanks.
This is the guy sitting
Yeah.
at the front with like the turret.
Yeah, there is going to
So
be
very-
that might be a slight risk if you're worried about sniper fire. The turret gunner will be exposed, but they are lightly shielded. They're pretty agile. They're speed 4, handling +1. They've got armor 2, defense 1/1, and their hull threshold is fairly robust for a, SIL 3 vehicle of that size.
And as we know, we can put me in the turret because at least I can maybe take a shot or two, as opposed to anyone else.
Just glance at the glaring hole in the helmet.
Better me than someone
In
else.
case you guys can't figure it out, you're looking at a weapon that has some level of breach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Even if it was a
Fine.
cold shot, breaching.
Yep. Okay. Fair.
And not that you guys also, even if they're using small arms, not that you guys want to take, space RPGs either.
Spurgeon.
Okay.
As we've discussed, a missile tube is min breach 1.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
I can maybe blast a fire, but maybe not that actually. Now that I think about it and look at it closely,
Yeah.
I'm not invincible.
Well, let's see here.
That said,
That was-
that
it
would
would be
be,
really
there's
nice.
4 of you. That's a perfect, taking one of the saber tanks is a perfect crew. Pilot,
Yeah.
co-pilot, gunner, commander.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect crew.
It would be.
Road trip in the tank. Let's go.
Actually, if you want to, let's
Supposedly holds 2 passengers, so you could take your favorite clones with you. Or 2 of them.
Take more. Whatever.
We brought Captain
Yeah,
Shark, or did we?
No, we got Shark and Motorhead.
You got Shark, though. You sent him out. You got a couple of captains with you because you're doing a split force, and you've got a number of lieutenants and sergeants.
Right. Well, the question is, do you want to roll out and take into there?
Well, like I said, if we take one saber tank, we might as well take 2, and we can.
Oh, I mean,
load-
you got what do we say, 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a light column.
Like you said, Sierra Mobile ain't going anywhere, but real talk, I don't think anyone's getting into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hold on. What's the armor rating on the Juggernaut? Yeah, 5. 5 armor with a hull trauma threshold of 55. Yeah, no, like
The Flames is gonna tinker off.
that'll take some bombs. You know, yeah, no, I think you would survive a proton torpedo because that's only like damage like 8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I'm pretty sure that's like breach 6, so it would go through the armor, but the hull would survive. So yeah, chunky, big chungus.
Big chungus. So this is my 2 ideas. We have 3 saber tanks. We might as well grab them all. We'll crew 1, and we'll have a rabbit recon crew the other 2. Motorhead will stay here with Sierra Mobile and the rest of the forces on standby, just for anything while Captain Shark's out investigating. We'll then go start patrolling start not half patrolling, half searching, half mapping the canyon, and see if we can narrow down where some likely places will be.
Ah, yes, trailblazing.
The other thing is
I believe we call that recon in force.
What the clone said. The other thing here is we sit on our hands for half a day and we bring in the cavalry. I'm thinking maybe 1 ATTE and maybe a couple LAATs. One's definitely gonna have to carry it, so probably 3 force. And then we
1
take
cargo, and then probably 2 infantry models, which can also store a couple of spare bikes.
Yeah.
We could maybe do
Yeah.
both. Do a little column and then have those things delivered halfway through the day.
Actually, this brings up a good point. Since you need to rustle up air cover anyway, do you have any thoughts about air support?
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, we need to.
You could, if as you're discussing this, I assume kind of standing inside your giant warehouse, just because it looks cooler that way.
Yeah.
do we have a table with a bunch of maps on it?
Yeah, you got a table with some holo displays rolled out and some paper maps.
Cool.
There's a single light hanging all the way down from the ceiling on you. Everything else is in shadow. But no, this thing's basically the equivalent of a medium or large size hangar. You could probably, if you needed cover, you could probably park some fighters in here.
Honestly, we don't like. I don't know. Are any of you guys particularly feeling a time crunch to get this resolved?
Not
as much, but
entirely,
like,
but like I'm worried
should
if we
try-
do. Oh, yeah,
We
sorry,
do-
Axe.
Oh, you finish.
Well, right.
No, I'm good.
Everybody talks at
you
once.
speak. I know,
I
right?
feel like if we let it sit, more things will happen. So we should probably end it sooner than later.
Yeah,
but
we should
if we're gonna
not
wait,
let-
if we're gonna wait some time, we might as well keep
Okay.
watch of things going out in and out of canyon.
Right.
That's actually
all-
not a bad idea.
And that's true, though we do not want them to get too much tested from what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we weren't necessarily quiet coming in, so I'm pretty sure whoever
They know.
they know we're here, so they might
Yeah.
not be. But
They
as I
might
said,
also
like the
book it
question
away.
is, do we go in with what we got, or do we do force buildup? If we do force buildup, we can basically. Like this is the way it has to break down. Whatever our composition is, either we go in with what we have now, which is and maybe catch them off guard, maybe, or we wait, build up our own forces, but at the same time probably let them build up their own forces and defenses.
Right.
Like I said, it's basically risk and reward. I want to put it as. We can go in now, but we'll be risking ourselves a bit more. But if we go later, we'll be putting actually we'll be risking ourselves and our equipment more. But if we wait, we'll have a better chance of surviving. What are you guys thinking?
I'd rather go in with overwhelming force than underwhelming force against them.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I'm fine waiting if we're not idle about it.
All right. So it sounds like that we want to do a force buildup. Very well then. So we already have 3 saber tanks, and we have enough bikes. We can probably scrap a couple bikes for some recon.
Yes.
So this is what I suggest we do. We're going to radio in for some air support and armor. While we wait, we're going to take the swoop bikes and we're going to do a couple quick passes around the canyon. And we're not going to actually go in. We're going to see what we can spot with thine eyes.
Okay, so I think what we will just inform Motorhead about that. Getting additional forces.
Omega, I have a question.
That's me.
What's the usual armor rating for the Vulture and Hyenum aircraft?
Okay, you would know from your past experience that Vulture droids they're light, fairly mass-produced fighters, so they're probably looking at about armor 2.
Okay.
The bombers are heavier; those are armor 3 usually.
Gotcha. I doubt. I think I need actually like proper actual breach rifle. I want to hit anything through that.
Probably yes.
Yeah. And to be too dark at the
They,
time. There.
you know,
Wow.
we're using specialist hardware, so
Yeah.
Right.
I was considering if like maybe I could try to shoot one, but that's probably not possible.
no, not I think with your normal sniper rifles. You need
I need like an
specialist
actual like
gear.
anti.
Yeah.
I need like an anti like vehicle gun.
Mhm.
I doubt we have that in stock, so that's not really what I'm thinking about at the moment.
Okay. So
All right. Okay. So
get the
you're
forces
requesting
ready.
reinforcements.
Yeah.
Do you want additional bodies, or are you satisfied with the the company's worth of guys you've already brought with you, basically?
We got companies worth of guys. We just need some additional armor. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
they'll bring. Okay. Let's see. Our set how much. Okay, so they could send probably 3 LATCs. Those are a lot well, they're not lighter, but they're easier to load because they don't have the passenger space. That could load up with 1 ATT Ewok, well, up to 3, but 1 ATT Ewalker minimum, probably carrying its own recon walkers, and then probably 4 additional bark speeders each. So 4 more bikes. So for an 8 total, and that would also still give you the basic gunship effects, because they'd still have forward and rear guns and their air to ground missiles.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Actually, no, I'm done. So apparently the LATI can carry 4 speeder bikes anyway, so that's probably just in the infantry because that does have more guns. That's got forward, rear, the mass driver missile launchers, air-to-air missiles, anti-personnel laser turrets, door-mounted gun. It's a gunship. It's covered in guns. Okay, so yeah, they'll just load up 2 of those with 4 bikes and no extra guys. Full gunnery crews, and you can have your gunship support. That said, they probably still want to assign some air coverage. So, what kind of escorts do you want to ride with these?
What do we have?
You guys have
viewing?
received some number of new viewing interceptors, which are
are-
light, fast, specialized in anti-vehicle stuff. Air-to-air interception.
Yeah.
But in terms of defenses, while they do have shields, they're still relatively light and fast, like the
Yeah.
torrents, which you also have in excess of. So
Yeah.
you could send more of those,
Mm-hmm.
but those are light and cheap.
Yeah.
They're mass produced. You guys probably do have some of the ARC 170 heavy fighters, aggressive reconnaissance fighters. Those are big, though. That's a 3-man crew with an Astro slot. They're designed for long-range stuff. There is the ARC 40B, which is a light recon fighter made to escort ARC 170s. They're basically like a pocket ARC. They have lighter munitions, and similar crew requirements, but are a little more compact and light. And for personal stuff, you do know that they did recently assign you a couple of Eta 2 Actus class interceptors, Jedi interceptors, and at least one. The Delta 12. Yeah, the Delta 12 is a 2-seat trainer model.
Okay.
It's true, but I don't feel like flying myself, so.
That's maybe why there's a 2-seat trainer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which ones were the mini arcs again?
That is the Arc 40B.
Arc 40B. Let me look that up real quick.
40B Scout. Okay.
Like I have to look at hacking.
Yeah, so
Stats
like
Four
an
and
Arc 170s, they're
defensive.
big boys. Very broad wingspan, which would be a little awkward for that, but they do have, robust weapon
Yeah.
mountings.
Yeah, that's 4 armor, 4 facing, 2 shield, and
Oh,
1
the Arc
back.
40B still needs like 4 people. Jesus, I mean 3 people in a mech.
Yes, but it's very, very robust, very flexible.
Yeah, we'll probably need a couple more, but I say we get a couple Arc 40Bs. They're kind of designed. They're designed to escort.
Recon escorts.
Yeah.
All right. They'll dig a couple out of the hangar and send them with.
All right. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to send out a report that it looks like there is actually some serious separatist activity out here, so we need reinforcement.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get the ATT. That's all we really need. We'll pair it with the saber tanks so that it can be that escort. We'll have the LAT, and the recon fighters as air support, and we'll go. But for right now, let's grab on some bikes and let's go do some light reconnaissance of our own, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. You have acquired bike.
Yes.
Same bikes from last night. I assume the same riding config.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Camo drives Boots' bike. Boots doesn't know how to drive good.
I'm in the passenger seat.
Well, Boots gets to ride. And Aramaa can look cool riding in Wevu's sidecar.
The only shotgun
Like a
I need
cool
is my
guy.
fist.
I was gonna say, like, you also could just do force waves.
I mean, there's a light repeating blaster mounted on the sidecar, but yeah, you don't know how to use it well though. But your agility's
Yeah.
pretty good, isn't it?
Hey, what's
What?
Like, hey, Wevu, what button is the safe?
It's
Fucking the
the
equivalent of your light machine gun.
It's the other button. The other button.
Okay, I think we're running. I think we're
Do
you back
not
now.
press the button to the far left. That's the eject button.
Oh, this butt just pops off, and Aramaa just scoots down the canyon
It just slowly rolls downhill.
like a toboggan.
Oh no, it's not the eject button, it's the decouple button, so the sidecar just goes just detaches and then just goes bye.
Just
off
pops
again. Okay.
All right,
downhill.
so you are doing some light recon.
Yes.
Yeah.
In some bikes. Barks, I believe, have a max altitude of like 40.
Yeah.
While the bike model that Camo and Boots are on can go higher, but that depends on it, whether or not you want to let them out of your helicopter range, generals.
So the biker advanced recon commando is 25.
25 meters, okay. Still decent.
Yeah.
So,
That's still
how is your
Yeah.
how is your plan for this? Because you've got the Fire Canyons is a fairly broad region.
Yeah, by the way, wait, what does
Right.
fucking hang on, I don't want to leave Skirk behind, but I'm trying to think, like, does she have plan or is she gonna have to have someone have a fucking driver too?
I think we talked about this. I think she has space, not planetary.
Yeah, she has space, that's right.
I mean, you've got another bark speeder.
Yeah, if we put her on it, can she just make the basic follow command?
Yeah, she can attempt to drive because she's got a score. I think the idea is basically it's your The way we usually do it is like your other pilot score -1. Like there's some crossover, but not exact.
Okay.
It'll still just be 3 agility, so I guess that'd be fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah, well, we'll put Skirk on the 3rd one.
Right.
Or I could just
Captain Motorhead in charge of the vehicle back home. Shark is taking a small detachment of probably moving past probably no more than a dozen guys.
Mm.
Hoofing it.
okay.
Anyway, yeah. So how do you want to go about your recon? Since you said you didn't want to just go cruising the canyons.
no.
Yeah.
No, well, I definitely want to note any notable like entrance or exits from the area, like get a lay of the land, I guess is the best way to put it. So,
Right.
find a nice high point, bust out, well, I won't bust out, but someone bust out them binocs.
Yeah. Fine.
All right, yeah.
It's
So
Aramaa.
you're in a border region. You can kind of follow the rivers, and you can start to see the terrain. Like I said, the terrain starts to slope up. Some of it at first is just basically almost like dune type formations. Soil deposits which build up into rolling hills, and then it starts to get rockier and actually rise into rocky highlands, which are deep cut with a variety of geological features. And everything is a mixture of dark reddish grayish volcanic rock interspersed with vibrant greens and blues of the local fauna,
Lovely.
with stripes of yes, kind of terracotta or adobe colored water flowing through. No clean bright blue waters here. And you can occasionally see sparkling rainbows, clouds of mists or fogs, volcanic gases. You are warned by the locals not to go up too high because there tend to be high winds in the canyon area.
Mhm.
Comes off the walls. You want to fly low and slow,
Well,
but obviously you guys want to get up on probably a ridge.
Mhm.
All right, so without needing to roll anything, I will tell you, if you're asking about entrances and exits, the unfortunate answer is many.
damn it.
The best way to look at it is the whole Efiana region is basically a volcanic plateau
Mhm.
that has been eroded by water traffic for, well, it's Soholiv, so it's weird, but for a geologically significant amount of time. The whole area is crisscrossed with canyons, which are dry and wet, cave formations, volcanic vents, geysers, hot springs, waterfalls, all kinds of things. Just in terms of, because you would have, I believe, low-level sensors. What are the range on these things?
Excuse
They
me.
short?
Close range, yeah. Still, as a planetary vehicle, close range planetary is pretty decent. Your like long range terrain scanners on the bark speeders are kind of limited by terrain features and the like, cloud formations, etc. So it's gonna be probably a tough to do a grid by grid search, but you could do it. There are obviously a finite number of canyons, so there's that. Go ahead and everybody make me a. Ooh.
Actually,
There could be a variety of skill checks here. I'm gonna label it hard, but you can make your choice of perception, survival, or knowledge warfare. And please note what skill you use.
Loth,
Tell it to me out loud. I will remember 5 minutes from now.
Okay, so Loth, you do knowledge warfare. I'll do survival.
All right.
Yep.
What was
Yeah.
perception?
Puh.
Aramaa, will you do any of the tests?
I guess I'll do perception, and I'll cuddle Skirk while doing it.
Well,
Fair enough. Skirk, what do your lizard eyes see?
I can't see
Wait.
it as Aramaa on my face. She's covering me really closely.
okay, I'll just roll it as is.
What difficulty did you say it was average?
Hard.
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 Alright, so.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Fine.
I am horrible at recording today because I keep forgetting that I'm recording. I go to check out the Discord channels and I'm dumb. And I'm like, stop doing that.
Huh.
It's
You're just
okay,
adding
we're
more
all
work
learning.
for
Double
yourself.
trial.
This is our permanent.
Let me
Could
see.
you make like 2 different Discord windows and just have one saved to this channel?
I don't actually know. Does this
I could probably switch to the internet browser Discord, but not like not the installed one.
Okay, I've just seen people that have like more than one Discord window open before, but
That's probably
I'm
because
not
they
sure.
have the
never worked it out
and
myself.
they
But
probably
yeah,
have
there's a
desktop and
there's
the
a yeah.
and the
Anyway,
fuck.
you're rolling.
I'm sorry, my roll.
All right, Wevu.
Yeah.
With perception, you see nothing helpful.
Yeah.
You see a lot of rocks and a lot of lands.
Wait. I forgot
No, you
one.
need one more purple in there.
One more purple. Hey, still 2 success, 1 advantage.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Scary.
Wevu, you stand up there, you look around, you see nothing helpful. Let's see, let's go in order you
Okay.
rolled this. Boots, knowledge warfare. All right, so you study this with a tactical eye. You know, you're thinking classic plans, classic terrain. So, just from a high-level survey, you guess to yourself, okay, so whatever they're doing, and yes, I am counting you did do a double triumph there, which is interesting.
shit,
where
there's a
both
double
of your
triumph, holy
successes
fuck.
From. Yeah. You rapidly come to the conclusion looking at this. Okay, all right, we got to be smart about this. The enemy has been hiding in here for at least a month, if not longer, probably longer because they had to build a place to park their scary ships, right, and refuel them and load them with bombs. So obviously they're not going to be anywhere visible externally like we're looking at with our eyes right now. They're going to be concealed. They're going to be below the level of the top level of the canyon. They're probably going to be deep in. However, that does mean that you can eliminate a lot of places. So I will say, probably with your double triumphs, you can't be exactly sure. You'd roll a threat in there. But basically, anywhere within a certain distance of any population center, and as I said during the briefing, though that was a while ago, obviously, the whole canyon region is scattered with small mining towns, camps. You know, some of which you don't have a population more than a couple dozen, but they still exist. So, basically, anywhere within a certain radius of those, not going to fly. They're doing this secretly. They're being concealed. You're looking for somewhere that has an appropriate level of cover. So you're probably looking for areas that have volcanic vent, geyser, waterfall, something activity where, you know, their sensors are going to, your sensors will be inhibited, but so would theirs. And you can probably cut out, I would say, safely with double triumph 2/3 of the region just from tactical math.
is it fair to
Okay.
ask if my role can build upon what Boots discovered?
Well, you're doing different skills and you're not colluding necessarily,
Fair
so not in a strictest sense. But you're doing
Okay.
with survival, so you get a different level of information. Again, you've got a threat. You're not 100% certain, but you probably come to a similar conclusion to Boots, but with survival, you're more thinking about like tracking, scoping, you know, making trails or hiding trails. You reckon the enemy's probably not doing any. They're doing as little overland travel as they can help, you know. And they're probably avoiding roads. It's really hard to track them if they, you know, are like crawling along canyon walls or stuff, or if they're flying straight up. Though that means they have to avoid population centers, so you do kind of come to that same
Yeah.
conclusion. Even with 2 successes, you probably can't narrow it down any stronger than Boots can. He did get a double triumph.
Yeah.
But I will say you can probably figure out what signs you need to look for
All right.
in terms of like enemy trails, tracking, positions where they're going to go. They're also going to avoid that stuff.
So the both of us should start laying out a map and then like making
Yeah,
drawing out
probably.
radius
Like
and,
roll out your
marking
map and
things.
start sketching things.
Yeah,
All
just,
right.
like marking out zones.
All right. Aramaa, you're just looking with your eyes. and asking Skirk to help you interpret, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's standing right there. Probably got her own electro binoculars out there, or a rifle scope. We don't know.
Probably rifle scope.
She can do like Mando does in the first season and pop her scope out and use it like a telescope. But yeah, so you guys are just looking with your eyes. So, you can pretty definitively say, with 2 successes and 1 advantage, that there's no obvious external signs from a distance of an enemy base. There's no, like, comms antennas, no weird structure sticking out, anything like that, right?
Right.
And obviously you're surveying a pretty broad region, but, you know, you guys might move around a little to different vantage points to confirm some stuff. So, yeah, the enemy's going to be hidden. You do probably spot some of those small settlements here and there, you know. Maybe they have, like, rows of moisture evaporators or generators up high, or they have transmission lines that kind of stretch out of the bottom. In some cases, you can actually probably look down on some of these canyons from a height and see, you know, interspersed bridges and catwalks going places, clusters of little huts and things, natural caverns. You do spot a collection of various collections of geysers or vents, kind of thing. You know, you can spot the. And again, with a fairly decent check, not a breakout check, but a decent check, you can be like, okay, so that's like, you know, that is mist from a waterfall or something. That's volcanic gas venting. You can be pretty sure none of this is like smokes from fires or anything, right? Like none of that. Nothing serious like that, at least. And just the general impression you get from a visible survey is that, unfortunately, a visible survey from a distance is probably not going to get you the exact data you need. You got to get closer, unfortunately, just because, like I said, they're probably well hidden. Though you do spot structures, settlement. You're not sure what to call it from this distance. You know, terraced area with like the naturally occurring water pools.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit for me.
It's
there,
down to
Omega.
maybe a canyon junction. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I was talking about the terraced gardens.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm a little bit too. Hold on. Let me drop out and reconnect and make sure.
Right.
No, I'll stay scrolled up. I can usually tell when it pauses. Yeah, so I was saying that like the kind of terraced structures, like you remember from the Green Spires, though much bigger. And this actually has man-made structures kind of on it, and it looks like there's actually a decently sized house, building, hall, something like that, kind of perched on top of there with various smaller structures. Looks like areas that are kind of partitioned into natural hot springs, some picturesque waterfalls. You do recall that Nietzsche, the mayor of Old Dog, did tell you that if you wanted to get a good lay of the land in the canyon, the person to ask was
The resort.
Gunstar, the proprietor of Clifftop House, which was the biggest of the old resort towns. So that does look like it's got a fairly central location and a decent amount of altitude. You're not sure if you'd be able to see anything better, but they're the locals. They might know some of those out-of-the-way places.
Actually, if we ask what their information and combine it with information we gathered, maybe we can like let it or like then thin it out even more.
Yeah. Honestly, I just want to see if they'll let me have a hot bath.
I think the better question is, will they charge you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Be that bad.
we still got checks Invisible Chrono time.
You have probably spent enough time that Captain Shark is probably back from his errand, but not enough time for your reinforcements to arrive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go
Do
check
you
out.
have any additional questions while in the field?
No, but I do want to make sure that we all convene and we basically start Xing out squares on the map.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so you've got a probably because you're recoloring it, you've got a hard copy map, and just basically be like, okay, these areas are out, these areas are out. I want to know what these areas. Start drawing big red circle.
Are there any places on the map if we zone out like generally like the radius of any like population center areas where we just like determine that it couldn't be here because it would overlap anyway?
What?
This is what we
You're
mean
gonna-
by we're
you're gonna need
Xing
to-
out things, Axe.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to maybe reparse that grammar.
This
If
more
it,
works
if
sense
it
if I
overlaps
just
with a population center, it's already off the list.
Yeah.
it probably makes more sense like a visual context if there was like a 9 by like 9 map kind of thing, and if there was like it
Oh,
overlaps
you have a
in.
lot more grid squares than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If there was like a large scale map, and if basically there's
Uh-huh.
a population center in like the top right, but not the corner, and then in the below the top right, it's just like you'd in like a general map, an actual map, since you'd.
I
knock out
mean,
the
I'll
corner.
tell you this: this is a naturally forming canyon formation. It does not. It unfortunately does not necessarily fit cleanly into grid squares. So yes, there will be overlap of areas between squares, but there are whole zones you can outright remove, and then there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be big X's or circles of like, no, it's not there. It could be here, etc.
Yeah, it was me dumbing that. It was dumb of me to ask because it was more of like a thing that makes more sense in like a visual investigation than just like a.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to draw you a grid map.
No, that's fine.
That would be way too much work.
Not what I meant.
I don't have a procedural canyon generator.
No, that's fine. I just brought it up because I was thinking about the situation, and not
Alright.
actually what we're doing.
Anyway, you guys reconvene for your map. Shark comes back. He basically reports pretty simple. No immediate signs of anything.
Mhm.
It was a pretty flat open top. Did have a good sight line. I mean, none of them could hit anything from 4 kilometers away, but did have enough altitude. This was on probably like a small mesa or like isolated outcropping that kind of separate away from the plateau area.
Mhm.
So you can be sure that the enemy can fly or climb, but you probably already guessed that.
Yeah.
And like he said, there were no obvious forensic traces.
Well,
They did probably take some like light chromatograph scans, do some comparison. Your science guys have been, with nothing better to do, been crunching on some of the other analysis of those. Some of the stuff you recovered.
mhm.
Yeah, you're probably not going to do anything so time urgent since you're waiting anyway. Basically, sorry, trying to breathe. Basically, doing a little bit of comparison, some notes. It does look like there were some molecular traces on the helmet or the cockpit. Specifically, certain isotopes of baridium, which normally is a very high explosive, but when it gets depleted baridium, yeah, I know space, is a very dense material, which is useful to make dense munitions, basically. Got a high density, makes pellets or slugs that have a very good, I guess, mass weight ratio, right?
Mhm.
Basically, exactly like you'd expect. It's like depleted uranium. So, specialist armor-piercing munitions.
Alrighty. Well, all right. Well, let's go. I'll put Shark on standby
Major.
here. It's like
If you wanted your scientists to guess, you're looking at a weapon that's probably got about a breach of 2.
that's scary.
It really is.
It is
Yeah.
probably not a huge joy to fire, though.
But if you're not organic, it's not that bad of a deal.
Yeah, you're looking at something that fires, high-density slugs designed to penetrate to fortifications or light armor.
Jesus.
Okay.
Anyway, let's go ahead to Clifftop House. And
All right.
Sure.
so through the canyon and around the vents.
All right. Actually, good point. How do you want to arrive? You just going to take the bikes again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So to remind everybody on the spelling, you are looking for Gunstar.
Armando.
Head
That's right.
It's like Amanda, but with an extra R.
Thanks, Space.
Space.
Star Wars.
Space name. It's, just so everybody knows, it's Clifftop, all one word.
Clifftop House.
Huzzah.
Trying to invoke maybe some of those, fancy pants, pulp kind of manners in hotels kind of a look. All right. Well, it's pretty easy to find. You can ask anybody for directions. It is basically the only major tourist destination, the major resort left in the canyons after the industry did die down a couple years back. More than a few, actually. But anyway. And basically everybody you actually talk to in Efiana, in the Fire Canyons, basically see it as not like a proper official county seat, but it's definitely the place where everybody goes to like catch up on their gossip and like talk about everything. All right, let's take another break really quick.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pause and I'll be right back.
Okie dokie.
And if anybody else needs to take like a 5-minute and try and get their shit together, I'm still a little groggo even though I took an antihistamine.
Really, I feel like low energy made my eyes tired, but I'm actually kind of fine. I'm just.
Yay!
I've sufficiently activated my almonds. I am alive. I'm ready to go.
All right, that is good.
I had to jam out a little bit. I drank a cola. I exist. Okay, I'm ready to fire back up if you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
Everybody count
I'm
for?
ready.
Okay.
All right, I'm good.
Okay, I'm unpaused. We're back. Hopefully, we're fired up. At least I am. Okay. Yeah, I had to juice up a little bit because I have to roleplay. All right. I'm not gonna make you guys roll anything. You're following direct. Sorry, I drank some soda, so I might be a little burpy. But since you guys know where you're going, you don't have to roll any checks because you're not under extreme duress. There's no chasing. There's no wild stuff. You guys can cruise respected wide open lanes. You guys kind of pass over a couple settlements. You get a couple of like oddball eyes because you do look a little weird, rolling out with the squad. But nobody tries to shoot you or anything, so that's good. And you arrive at the aforementioned Clifftop House. Like I said, it's kind of a big, broad building. You could call it a house, but if it was a house, it's much more of a mansion. A big, broad building at the kind of the top of this cliff area with smaller buildings. Some of them look like maybe, like villa's not the right word, but like little, almost like condos, I guess. Like little small vacation homes you could rent.
Bungalows?
Bungalows. Bungalows probably a good word. Very, very appropriate to the tone here. Yeah. Little bungalows. Some outbuildings. Some technical stuff. Looks like there's some water filtration. There are actually what look like some of these. Terraces are filled with big. Big clean. Hot water springs. Where the water looks a lot more. So clear that they're basically white. For those of you who have played Ghost of Tsushima, think of the aesthetics of that one Hot Springs town.
That was a cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
with kind of the warm waterfalls into big broad springs with very very white, pristine rock.
I'm remembering that. Yeah.
And basically you see some. Everybody in the area seems to get around in like swoop bikes, land speeders, etc. Maybe some air speeders. So there's some, platforms and kind of, you wouldn't really call it a parking lot or whatnot, but there's areas where you can park your bikes. Though you do also see some interesting say, are they pack animals? Are they riding animals? They're very, very kind of tall, lanky creatures. They kind of resemble maybe skinny swamp striders. And they've got kind of a mottled, red and gray, kind of a rocky coloration rather than a swampy or plain one.
So clearly, this is the cliff variant.
Mhm.
Cliff striders.
You would say they also probably look a lot like, maybe they look like cameloids.
Oh.
Something terrain appropriate. I mean, Boots has knowledge, right?
I do. What kind of difficulty would it be?
These are a local animal, and their specifics are probably hard, but not anything more complex than that.
Let's go. Damn it.
Yeah, they're clearly cliff striders. Clifftop House, right?
Yeah, see,
House must be named after them.
see, General, you're correct. They are cliff striders.
Oh.
Alrighty.
Some kind of distant or close related cousin to the swamp strider.
So you guys pull up, and you see nearby. There's kind of a loose pasture of these things, hemmed in with some basic light, metal mesh fencing, with like some small proxy sensors on the top. Looks like they're currently being a little unruly. You see a young woman with a shock of red hair throwing some kind of electro lasso, grabbing a couple of the spare ones and herding them back into the cage. There's a couple of burly-looking ranch hand types, handymen hanging around. You see a lot of broad-brimmed hats. Keep the sun out of your eyes. Because as mentioned, Efiana actually has lighter cloud cover than normal. Clouds tend to form fast and blow over, so there's actually a fairly decent amount of sunlight. You're in like an upper latitude, so it's not perfect, but yeah. So you guys are here. How do you want to go about your asking your questions?
Let's see here.
Weird sightings, weird noises.
Well, I kind of meant more like you're new here,
Oh, okay, fair.
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like you're standing
Oh.
around on your. I keep wanting to say dock, but you wouldn't. No, you're not docking bikes, though it might look like a dock because it's probably got some scaffolding and catwalking.
Yeah.
You're at the pad.
I assumed like there's like an actual like entrance desk, kind of.
Okay. You go into the front desk then? That's the answer to my question.
Yeah.
I assume.
Okay, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to know. Like, I need to know what you're doing. If you guys are gonna like crawl into the hot springs first,
Okay, fair.
that's
Fair.
Lucky would not be opposed to that. I need to know these things.
Fair enough.
Without saying
I
anything, we
you guys
just
could have
vibed on
stood
them
around
there.
and done nothing until somebody talked to you. Technically, this is
I was
your door.
more of like I was just when you said that when you were like questioning me, it was like, okay, wait, did I say the wrong thing?
No. I just want to know where you're going and what you're doing. This
Alright, good.
Sorry, I'm just letting
Not-
you dig a hole, so I'm just like, whatever.
It's not a huge place, but I want to emphasize this is a sizable. You would probably call this a resort town.
Yeah.
So like there's got to be floor space at least for probably a couple hundred people in here. You do not see a couple hundred people lounging around, BT Dubs. But they have the space for it.
Neat.
And actually, now that you're close, you do see some of the bungalows do look like they've like been boarded up or closed down, got some caution tape on them, kind of a thing. Maybe could use a fresh coat of paint. But all right, Camo scouts the front desk, and unless you guys are gonna object, you will follow.
Yeah.
No, I will
Alright.
follow.
Oh,
All right. So when Camo reaches the edge of the screen, you guys get dragged along.
Yep.
Yep.
Probably for the sake of us all.
You get to the front desk. There's a very looks a little weather worn, but a very gentlemanly service type droid. he's got an oversized photoreceptor in one of his eyes, which makes him look slightly like he's wearing a monocle. And he's wearing a bow tie, which appears to have been welded onto him. Got a nice hat. Takes it off. Hello, how can I do you, gentlemen and ladies? Welcome to Clifftop House. What can I do for you this fine day?
Camo, you're the one who wandered over here. Did you just wander over without a plan?
I thought we were gonna ask questions. I just thought you were
Well,
gonna
then ask some questions, Camo.
Aramaa examines the brochure.
I'm curious about these rates about the hot springs package here.
That is definitely one of the big things on the... Yeah, you're looking at a brochure. It's got a 50-50 split between... you're looking at extreme canyon diving package and relaxing hot springs package.
I'm totally on. Armand's all like, I could totally use a hot spring package right now.
Yeah,
I
well,
say,
chicken
Camo, this is
very
what
hot,
happens when you
probably.
take charge, Camo. You take charge.
Yeah.
Just think of
I'm
it this way, Axe. You're forward scouting.
I'm not allowed to progress the plot unless they want to. Okay.
No, progress the plot on your own.
Yeah.
You're scouting
Okay.
forward.
I
You've
hate
encountered,
that.
you've encountered a local. He's asking you what you want.
The problem is I don't. As a person, I'm just stuck where it's like I keep fearing of like I just don't want to say the wrong thing. Or
Say the
more,
right
I don't
No,
wanna
thing.
just-
say anything.
Yeah. Like I said,
It's
same.
more of, I don't want to say too much is the problem.
Well, then don't say too much.
I don't want to too much is the
Don't
problem.
speak at all, even.
Okay.
Then
All right.
grab your commanding officer and call a huddle. Be like, wait a minute.
So it's just,
I mean, to be fair, you've had a long, well, not a long trip, but you probably Bark Speeder's decently fast. But I assume you guys weren't like, again, not like pedal to the metal, right?
No.
It
Yeah.
probably took you a decent 60 minutes of flight time.
Alright.
You had some time to converse.
All
Like,
right.
you,
Well,
if
anyway.
you want to flashback and establish the plan.
All right. The plan is basically we want to get access to the highest point of the tower, as well as basically investigate whether any of the locals have seen anything or know anything weird about any strange sightings in anywhere parts of the canyon. This can include
Or
noises.
sounds,
Yeah, I was about to say this include noises, lights, sounds, and
smells.
smells. Have
Gotcha,
any
okay.
people gone missing in the area? Where have there been like sites of accidents, or has there been any like weird stories about people disappearing and things? You know, out of the ordinary. Also, Armand's really thinking about that hot spring package.
Alright. We're from the local dispatch mentioned. We just came to looking for any strange sightings or disturbances in the area.
Ah, the constabulary. Hold on. I believe this would be appropriate for Miss Gunstar to see. I will ring her at once. Wait one, please. Pushes a button. Yes, madam, there are some local authorities here to see you. You hear kind of slightly tinny, but you hear you'd say probably a young woman's voice say, is this about finally about to hear my gambling license? And she's like, no, I don't think so, ma'am. Slight cussing. All right, put him on the back veranda. I'll be up in a second. Yes, follow me right this way, sir. He gestures with a very, very thin skeletal hand of a robot man.
Robot man.
Would you care for refreshments?
I'll take some. What was that fucking tea that we had in that bar episode?
Bunba? No, that's something else.
That alcoholic tea.
Mion. Is Mion.
Yeah. thank-
Ugon tea.
Ooga
Can I
tea,
please
yeah.
get some Ugon tea if you got any?
I'll check right away in this, yes.
Lemonade.
Straight up water.
Water's fine.
Well,
Oh, yes,
Camo,
the finest spring water.
I'm gonna enjoy
Yeah,
some
Lord.
Oolong tea, and I'm gonna sit here and watch you do your magic.
Right. You guys are
The first
taken
time
to the back
First
veranda.
time- That's the first time I ever heard you say magic to me. I went all of myself.
I'm gonna enjoy every second of it.
You were served two clear, fresh spring waters. You can taste the minerals. Aramaa is served some kind of local citrus juice.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's probably
and,
lantern.
Is it lantern fruit juice?
Yeah.
it
Spicy.
glows slightly. You know, when they juice the lantern fruit to make the lanternade, they don't remove any of the phosphorescent chemicals. That's where you get the spice. Well, actually, honestly, I don't think most people describe it as spicy, but technically citrus is acidic, so
Yes.
it's usually
like
where
a-
we get spicy from.
It's got that tang to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole vitamin C.
And it's been poured, but Boots is drinking a fine iced Mugen tea.
Yes.
And you're on the back veranda. It's a very broad area. Probably not the highest point. You do see that there's a couple rows of balconies. Like I said, this place is basically a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some nice tables with some umbrellas, and you can see one of the many waterfalls in this region kind of stretching off, pouring into the depths of the canyon.
How picturesque.
And
Oh,
after
lovely.
a moment, sorry, did you want to make some small talk?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh,
Okay.
I can make a little bit of small talk. Cause like, Camo, do you want to take lead on this investigation?
I feel like I could say no, but you're not going to take that as an answer.
Oh no. You can say yeah. That's not an answer, Camo. You can say no.
Camo looks deep within. Can I actually say no?
It's actually a question. So,
Okay, let me put it this way, Camo.
no. I'd rather you do it myself.
Wait, did you just say I'd rather you do it myself?
I'd rather you do it instead of myself.
Oh, okay. Very good then. Now sit down.
I'm just imagining you guys see the shutter flash as Wevu turns on the camera mode on her Electrobionics.
Aramaa will stand, face the waterfall, hands behind back, very, aura of authority.
All right.
And
Okay. After a decent number of minutes, little while, another person comes onto the back. It is the young woman you saw wrangling before.
Mhm.
She takes off some, kind of dusty gloves, sets them to the side, walks up, kind of puts her hands on her hips and says, "Afternoon. I'm the proprietress, Armanda Gunstar. How can I help you?"
Miss Gunstar, Aramaa will turn around, and start forward. General Aramaa of the Grand Republic Army. I'm doing an investigation into the area, and I was hoping I could get some assistance.
Well, all right. Happy to help. She'll take a hand.
Shake.
Kind of surveys everybody.
It's like,
Actually, this is a good question. What kind of gear is everybody carrying on them right now? Because I know Boots only has the one set of armor, but some of you guys have some different kits and stuff.
I'm in my battle armor. Let's see here. What else would stand out on me? The lightsaber.
Yep.
Beskad. Like huge.
Yeah.
The rifle. It's like 2/3 my size.
I have a weird gourd.
True, you do have a weird gourd.
And yeah, other than that, it looks like just a bunch of.
Then again, you don't know. You're in a weird canyon town right now. Maybe your gourd isn't weird.
I don't know. And yeah, just covered in bags and pouches and belts.
I think everybody in this squad is covered in bags and pouches and belts.
Yeah, we just got a bunch of shit.
It's like we're just following the Kingdom Hearts guidelines for clothes.
We don't have zippers. We just have actual I think it's more like the Pathfinder design where half their things are literally carrying capacity.
No, we need that carrying capacity. Anyway, so Oh, actually, no point in standing around. I'll gesture to a table. And it's like, shall we sit?
All right. If this will take that long.
It may.
Ready? Well, we are known for our hospitality at Clifftop House. Everybody take a seat.
Now,
I see the concierge droid has already seen to your refreshments.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, we're currently in a bit of a bind here. Have you heard of the recent attacks over in Old Dog in the surrounding farmlands?
She kind of nods. Yes, passed up the grapevine this way. All kinds of things going on.
Like I said, we're here in the area trying to find a solution to that. And we have reason to believe that the source of attack may be coming from these canyons. Now,
You do see kind of a change in her expression when you say those things. You know, talking about coming from the canyons and found the source, and she's kind of like, interesting. What exactly would you say is the nature of this cause and effect? General? Ma'am? Is ma'am all right?
ma'am's fine.
Ma'am, General.
Captain General Ma'am.
Oh, you got a sassy one.
Yes, he is.
Oh, don't
I
worry.
apo-
I'll
I
just- I'll be
apologize in
quiet.
advance.
If you can't promise that, I'm going to see how long it takes you to reach the ground from here.
You know, I've got a new bungee cord I've been meaning to test.
That would work perfectly.
I'll make sure it's secure.
Anyway,
get
And I'll
along
make sure
just
I'll
fine.
take you with me, Camo.
You can try.
all right, boys.
all right.
Simmer-
Actually, at this point, she'll probably realize she doesn't take your name. She's like, "All right, so you're nice to meet you, Mr. Camo. What's your sassy friend's name?
This is Boots.
You could use some. Looks like you could use some new boots."
I like mine very much as it is. Thank you very much.
All right.
And if we're doing introductions, we have another general standing over there taking in the sights. That is Wevuguk.
The way it was just, you do not want me to pronounce my last name.
Tips
Full
your hat,
name.
ma'am. I'll just say ma'am. That's easier.
Anyway,
But yeah, what's the nature of your? What's the exact nature of your problem?
it seems to be separatist droids.
She seems quite surprised. What? Separatists in the Fire Canyons? Oh, well, I don't mean to doubt you, ma'am, but that seems very unprecedented.
Well, do you have a better explanation to the happenings in the town? It's a pointed question.
No, not personally. Yeah, maybe when you kind of go on the offensive, her posture kind of tightens up. I mean, not personally, but I do know that there have been more local complaints about the local canyon runners been causing problems again, vandalizing speeders, starting small fires, throwing rocks.
And will any of these boys be able to use military-grade explosives from a range of, I don't know, low fighter distance?
She kind of, tucks a straight hand here and there and said, "Ma'am, I feel like if you've got a particular question, you should go ahead and ask it."
No, it just seems like well, it just seems like there's something to be bothering you, and I'm kind of curious what it is all of a sudden.
Well, what's bothering me at the moment is that, I'm a small business owner here in the heart of the Efiana region. We've been recovering from a long-term economic slump, and then all of a sudden there's a war on, which means that it's a lot harder to get access to supplies, licenses, work through recovering the economics of the area. And now all of a sudden, not only is the war going on everywhere, but the war's right here in my backyard without anybody seeming to notice. So you'll have to excuse me, ma'am, if I'm wondering what your objective is here. If there is actually something going on, I'm sure you'll find the locals quite cooperative. But, we haven't all seen any of that, fancy urban renewal that supposedly is going on the other side of the continent, in case you haven't noticed. She gestures around. She could probably use another coat of varnish on maybe some of these railings. We got a couple loose nails.
Yes, sorry, your proposals must have got lost in the mail.
It's all right. I'm used to it. I've been the sole owner of Clifftop House since before the war started. Ever since the death of my dear old pa.
Anyway.
And I have a current problem that is hopefully not related, in that it is currently, in case you don't know, since obviously you are not from here, we're gearing up for the local. Let's see. In the next couple of cycles, it's gonna start being sovereign breeding season, which means males are territorial and females are gorging, and I gotta look out for my flocks of conda teams.
Don't you mean Cliff Striders?
What?
Mm-mm. She gives you a level look, just like, I see. Where'd you find that name?
They're basically swamp striders on the cliffs.
Oh my God, he thinks he's a brilliant scientist. No, conda teams, though closely related to the swamp strider and the wall strider, are native mostly to the Effiani Highlands. They're quite durable creatures.
At this point, you just see Boots pull out a notepad and start writing this down.
Start scribbling notes.
It's like, wait a second, I was wrong. Scratch out
They're quite durable, and they're well suited to the uneven terrain. Long necks, fatty bodies.
Damn it. I just checked the chat and saw that.
Yeah. They're one of our primary ways of getting around down here if you can't afford or don't know how to fly a speeder or a swoop. We do tours. But I got to look out for them. Otherwise, some big old honking, soyvern buck or mare might come along and decide to take a snack.
Well, that definitely seems like it'd bite into your renewal plans.
It would be unfortunate, but they're the part of the local lifeblood. Though I warn you, she stares over at Boots in particular, don't get cuddly. You gotta give them time to know you. If they feel threatened, they filter out the local water by gathering the salt and silt right out of it. So they'll sprit a brine jet at you that'll sting your skin and eyes something fierce.
Good to know.
Oh, okay. Looks like there's just a whole bunch of stuff happening here. So let me just get this straight. On top of there being mysterious attacks at night, we have local hooligans. And we have about to have a bunch of very angry apex predators out to make their way.
Well, I would say mostly during the actual mating season, they're mostly just noisy. Before they settle in to have clutches. But it's possible if you go to some of the less traversed canyons, you might run into angry bull soyverns fighting.
Unfortunately, it seems investigation has led that probably the less traversed canyon is probably where we're looking for. Would you happen to have any?
Sound like a problem.
Do you
we do have some maps. I do wildlife tours. In fact, if I had some extra help to watch the farm, I could probably get out there myself. I was born and raised in these canyons. Obviously, I have to be responsible, but, well, she kind of chuckles. It's funny you say hooligans, ma'am, but honestly, most everybody when they're a kid around here is a canyon runner. It's the only thing to do with your time when you're not helping mining or ranching. The current run of canyon runners is a little more
Destructive.
I mean, I wouldn't say that per se, but they're more rowdy than usual. But like I said, times have been tough. Economics haven't fully recovered since the since the bandit activity of 5 years ago. And then, like I said, the war and the lockdowns has been really rough. I don't know if the place can take an invasion. Jeez.
Oh no. Let's see here.
Oh, I might have to dig into the stores. I will tell you, most people around here are well armed. Between bandits, soy verns. Some of the caves you can get night stingers if they're not in soy vern territory.
Oh.
You ever met a night sting, ma'am?
Yes.
Wait, wait, didn't Aramaa get like stabbed by one?
We
Hey,
saw
yes,
one
tried to
and
take
he's
away,
not here
uh,
anymore, but Cavis almost got kidnapped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying to kidnap Cavis.
Aramaa will probably just pull down. I think it was in the back. Just pull down her robes a little bit and just point at the stab.
Ah, you have had that unfortunate joy. Yeah, we don't do night stings on tour. Though I have had some locals from the plains pay heartily to take care of pest control for me. But yeah, if I had some extra hands around here to watch the animals and make everything be shored up, I'd be sure to hedge you out. We also can rent you some gliders if you want to travel in style.
Gliders.
Yeah, canyon gliders. Light repulsors. Mostly they work off updrafts. Pretty low impact. And the thing is, for wildlife tours, they're whisper quiet.
Whisper quiet, huh?
Yeah.
Those could be useful to us.
Camo,
At the very least, you'll never, if you're thinking about canyon runners. But no, they can't possibly be involved. Though it's funny you mentioned, I don't know about military grade, but some of these are miners' kids. I wouldn't be shocked if they haven't been doing amateur demos since they could, count. Most people down in the canyons are hard workers. It's a rough life.
Armand's gonna turn around. Boots, get on the horn. See what's the ETA before the armor rolls in.
Will do, boss.
Armor, gosh, I don't know if I like the sound of that, though. I don't know. Are they picturesque?
They're big hunking blocks of metal that shoot big bullets and blow up a lot of landscape.
So yes.
Like I said, we're having a plan to basically do what we like to call forest recon. We gonna take a bunch of armor and patrol in forest. But if there's a method that might get us our answers without getting potentially shot down or blown up, or maybe piss off a bunch of what kind of animals are soy verns? Are they big lizards or are they big feathers? I mean, big like winged lizards.
Yeah. So the root word obviously there is wyvern. So no, they're reptavians.
Yeah. So
no feathers.
Yeah. So I'm trying big reptiles. No offense, Skirk. She hisses slightly. We might have to take you.
Skirk's probably in between these conversations has probably been like, wildlife tours, you say? Safari, you say? Oh, they're big, you say? The points. The points.
And we do have some, depending on how much time, we might have to take you up on that. But in the meantime...
Well, at the very least, if you got a map you can show me, I can maybe help mark anything out for you.
Yeah, Camo.
Now, when you say separatist activity, how, on a scale of, I don't know, 1 to 10, how crazy would you say they are?
Oh, how crazy are the Separatists? Well, let's see here.
Well, I mean these specific ones.
These
but
specific
sure,
ones.
if you want to give me a lesson in political history.
If I was to say how crazy, I'd probably put them on about a 7. From what I can tell, what they're doing is either they have a grudge against somebody down in Old Dog, or they're testing new dangerous weapons with new tactics, possibly stealth tactics, so people don't see them coming or going. So that means that they're going to keep blowing stuff up until they get the data they want, and then they'll go on to bigger and better targets, which might be the actual population centers, any infrastructure, or just whatever irritates them.
Camo probably like pulls out the map to just so we've like zoned out some areas and like.
Ow.
You okay?
Yeah, I accidentally hit my knee on my desk.
Oh, okay.
That's clearly Boots being bungee corded.
Or
Or he got spit on
Being
by a
bungee corded as he's trying to radio in.
yeah.
Boots goes to radio it, accidentally stands too close to a Conda team, gets a brine spit on him. Ah, it burns. It's cold, but
Why?
it burns. Yeah. So
We've got enough
she
areas
starts
and-
studying your map.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, this sounds about right. Have to be far from people. She probably takes out a pen mark and scratches out a couple places. There are actually some unmarked camps here and here. Population can move around a little bit as time goes on. Well, I mean, if you want to investigate the local canyon runners, that's one thing. But I think they're camped up in these areas. She kind of gestures at a couple more areas. So your separatists are probably not camped right on top of them. But if they're crazy, there are some areas that are Sovereign territory they could pass through. You say they're stealthy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sovereigns are diurnal. Not that they can't see in the dark, but they don't go hunting.
We were going to probably request if you'd let us borrow your highest point if we could wait a night here.
Oh, if you want to keep a night out, well, I don't normally. Back in the day, the penthouse was a nice place to stay, but it's hard to maintain. So usually I quarter myself and some of the staff up there. But I got a balcony. Not much for sky gazing, but it'll work. I warn you, it'll be cold. It's windy up here at night.
Yeah, we've dealt with worse.
Camping session, let's go.
Oh yeah, how much is that? Oh,
She, by the way, she pivots to Camo and Aramaa. If that boy calls my hotel camping, I'm gonna throw him off myself.
oh.
Maybe without the cord.
How much is it to throw him off with the cord?
I don't
Don't
know. I
threaten
bet
me
I
with a
could
good
charge
time.
tickets.
How about free for the test run, and then we'll pay you for every time after that.
Oh, I can get him to bounce 3 or 4 times. How much weight you carrying, boy?
Quite a bit, but I'm pretty sure, like, if I was to bounce, maybe once or twice, honestly.
Fair enough. He's a good sport, at least. All right.
Yeah, he does
Well,
that.
she kind of scrolls over your map. I can pull you up some detailed charts. Unfortunately, I've got to be honest, a lot of the locals, myself included, we don't always write down our routes, but I've got a couple local guides. She doesn't outright say it, but Armand is definitely leaning that, like, the best local guide is obviously her, but she's busy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, again, like you mentioned, you need help. Like, what kind of help? Just bodies, or do you need someone actually that knows what they're doing?
well, I've got enough hands to corral the animals, even if they get spooked. I'm just mostly thinking I'm really the only one myself who can handle them. She kind of turns over and she's like, "Concierge, give me my gun." Concierge goes off, comes back a minute later with, you guys can immediately tell this is probably some kind of custom build. It is a large, looks kind of like rifle, but it's got components. You guys familiarize yourself with bowcasters.
Oh,
And actually, Armand is carrying a bandolier of corals for it.
Mm.
She kind of sets it up and racks. This is something my daddy made after studying a Wookiee bowcaster. He called it a heavy bowcaster, but this is just the dragon. Long range, high impact, got enough power to maybe not pierce a clean direct shot, but Sovereign's got weak points like anything else. At the very least, it's very uncomfortable for them to get smacked with, and they usually go away. But I've been firing it since I could carry it, and actually some before then, so I'm the only one who knows how to make it work, and nobody else has got custom ordnance like this. If you got anything that's strong, or at least scary, ward them off. Prevent them from taking any bites out of my herds. And on the plus side, she, loads a coral, racks it. I haven't met a droid alive who'll take one of these and feel like walking away.
Let's see here. Boots, did your radio in yet?
I'm trying in. I apologize. Any news, Omega, from my end? I have been chiming in with
Yeah, no. What specifically were you radioing in about?
ETA before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, double checking. Okay, yeah, no, you've easily been able to get back while they're interspersing. You probably are like, all right, wait we'll check with them. They radio out. Okay, they said this. Okay. Let's see. You've been talking for a little bit. You flew out here, and you did your recon. You've probably got 3 or 4 hours before everybody arrives and gets set up. Longer or shorter, depending on where you want them to drop to. Like technically, they could arrive sooner if you have them rendezvous at Old Dog, but then you need to actually deploy from there.
Wait, is there enough space around Clifftop House for us to deploy them?
I mean, you'd probably want to ask Mr.
I know, but I'm asking,
there's physical space, because there's a lot of open space. You might have to land in like a shallow pool, but there's patches of rock and open areas. Looks like she's got some empty pastures or pens for the kind of teams.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably fit as ATT is what? Still 4, yeah. No, it's pretty, yeah. Like they're definitely pens or areas which are big enough to park, light freighters in or something.
Okay. So,
big cargo speeders.
All right. So, well, then I'll turn back to Armanda and be like, well, if the saying goes, help each other out. If you let us deploy our armor from here, you'll have more bodies than you know what to do with, and as their commanding officer, if you wanted them to shovel, how do you pronounce it again?
Condotine
shit for half the day, they'll do it. But as I said,
I don't need help with that, but that's good to know.
It's an example. So,
well, I don't know. Maybe I could give some of the hands vacation days.
And then that would free you up to hopefully take us on one of your vaulted glider tours.
Alrighty. Well, how much space do you need?
Let's see here.
Talking about it.
Let's see here. 3 saber tanks at AT.
What is the ATTE canonical length?
Yeah. And what? 2? No, 3. And 3 ships. So quite a bit of space, actually. Properly thinking about it.
ATTE about 20 meters long. It's not that big.
Okay.
LATs I think are like closer to. Well, depending on the config, they can be between like 20 or 30. The cargo models are longer but skinnier, but they can also hover. Yeah, you got plenty of space.
All right. Well, we'll relay that to her.
All right. She'll probably go to like reorganize some, like I said, some pens or some pasture space you can land.
All right, and
We don't exactly have traffic control around here, but we got a local comm set and an antenna.
And we'll radio back to us, and we'll have the saber tanks just load up and head our way.
Rendezvous, yeah.
Yep. And let's go. And then while we wait, let's go throw Boots off a cliff.
Make sure to
Boots,
please
wait,
attach the rope. I don't want to die just yet.
Oh, you have nothing to worry about as a bungee cable gets hooked to the back of your belt. This thing's strong enough to hold a Wookiee.
I'll hold number 8 for you for a bit.
Here, Camo, hold my hand.
Don't hold his hand, Mr. Camo. It's a trick. I've seen it before.
Damn it.
Camo took 2 steps back immediately you said that.
He's figured me out.
Though, also, aren't you wearing a jetpack, Mr. Camo?
Yes. I was gonna humor him.
Come on, thanks, Drew.
I had a funny idea.
And with that,
I just let go and leave.
and with that, I push Boots off the cliff.
With my last breath, flies.
Yeah,
I just imagine
she-
Boots got kicked off without his helmet.
Whoop. Nah, you're fine. It's a bungee cord.
Yeah, it's a bungee cord.
You got a little bit of extra weight. You get a good couple of 3 or 4 bounces before you settle.
Yeah, boy.
And now I show you my greatest feature. It's self-retracting. Boots slowly winches back up.
Yeah, fascinating.
Now that the technical business is, now I'm actually curious about your establishment.
Oh well, you'll not find a finer place to stay this hemisphere, ma'am. Some of the places could use a fresh coat of paint, but that just means that we have a more elite clientele.
I'm gonna give her as level a look as a blindfolded woman can.
Eyebrows.
What? It's true. Listen. We don't have enough intake to need to reactivate some of the bungalows, so they're a little low in my maintenance queue. Okay.
Okay.
In all seriousness, did you actually apply for any of the urban renewal packages from the capital?
We've tried applying for everything, but there's a mighty long backlog, and unfortunately, we are a little far away. I'm still gummed up with getting the gambling license back. Hell, I only got my alcohol license a year and a half ago. Now, if you don't mind me saying, ma'am, I don't think that stopped anybody from having a drink around here, but my T's and I's were not crossed and dotted for a while. People are, we're far out here. People don't often think about us anymore. Not since the banditry. Though if you hear the stories of some of the old timers, some of them say the marshals didn't even care that much. Wasn't until old Ariana Serenko started killing marshals that they cared.
People can only protect so much.
Well, that's why we gotta protect ourselves. Clack, clack. Concierge, be a good boy and put this up for me for a little bit. But ma'am, it's cocked. Yeah, I know. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Honestly, I'm more concerned about my floors than his foot.
You probably puncture right through him.
Well, this looks like this does look like it used to be something. I think I'd like to see it back the way it was.
She looks like she was about to be offended when you said used to be, but then you kind of soften it. She's like, "Yeah, it was. I remember it. Not much, but I was pretty young during the banditry years, so I mostly remember the decline. But we got hollows. Daddy always said the place was real nice. Had to strip the filigree, sell it.
I've decided.
On
That-
what, ma'am?
Oh, I guess I should have mentioned this. I'm General Aramaa of the Grand Republic Navy and also the head of the urban renewal projects on Sohaliv.
Just kind of like, all right.
Okay.
Like I said, unfortunately, you are right. We have been focusing mostly on things around more Iridu and setting up better roads and stuff on the parishes there. But coming out here, this is unique. Never seen.
You've been reading my brochures.
She holds it. Aramaa will hold it up. Yes, I have. And as I said, unfortunately, business.
I knew my marketing correspondence course would pay off.
And unfortunately, while we have business at the moment, once this is resolved, maybe we can talk a little bit more about the good old days. But
Well, that will be mighty fine.
yeah, but
I mean, I must confess, as much as I am eager to have the place of business up to spec again, there's a lot to work on in Effiana. I know I live in a privileged position. She kind of looks around, literally. But there's a lot of people out here, and a lot of... I know not everybody agrees, but in this place, a lot of the work does trickle down. You do not know how many bored off-season miners and skimmers I employ, running gliders and fixing them, painting, herding conda teams, catching new conda teams. By the way, that's something you don't want to pay for ever, is breaking in a new conda team. The local pack is domestic, but they are quite ornery,
yeah.
and they kick. I have seen them kick more than one man off a cliff, but that's why you wear gear. Actually, I should say, kind of the outfit she's wearing. It's you know, you'd kind of expect from kind of an upper class, you know, runs a space hotel / a space rancher. But actually, it looks a lot kind of like honestly, like some of the gear you guys have, where it looks like she's got, you know, a big utility like rig with lots of like climbing gear attached to it. You know, carrying additional supplies in some pouches. Got some decent goggles. Has her hair back out of the way and looks like it's got, you know, a lot of different stuff. Got hardy work gloves, which look like they've got some grip surfaces, you know. She did technically say she used to run the canyons. You wonder if that's literal.
Oh,
Also has a very unique knife. Looks to be made of some kind of tooth or bone.
cool. But Aramaa will nod. It's like, yes, I can understand that. Honestly, probably I'm gonna be surprised if a lot of people down in Moria do finds out just forgotten about this place. I'm sure a good reminder and maybe a good air route might fix that. It took us almost 2 days to do it by vehicle, but a few hours in a speed.
Oh gosh, did you guys drive here? Or did you drive in? I don't think I've ever heard of anybody crossing all the way from the science base overland. At least not in 2 days.
Oh, just a very, very big truck.
Nice. Does it fit in canyons?
No.
No.
They never do. Never do.
But honestly, from what I understand here, there's a lot of farmlands over here, and interesting.
And Brisket Delta's pretty rich. They complained a lot about the banditry, but I think most of them kept most of their credits stuffed in their socks and under their mattresses. Just nobody wanted to travel. Really killed the tourism business. There used to be a whole string of resorts all throughout here. Clifftop House is the last one left.
In your opinion,
Go ahead.
In your opinion, how do you think that locals would feel about the Republic Army presence in the area?
Well, if the separatists are blowing up buildings, I expect they'd be quite pleased. After you dealt with that problem, I don't rightly know. I suppose people would feel safer. I guess it depends on what exactly the presence entails. A lot of the folk in the canyons are, working class, independent, but I expect you wouldn't be parking a clone trooper. She reaches over and just kind of, because I assume you guys are all still standing around, kind of just tap, does a light tap to one of Camo's shoulder pauldrons. I suppose you wouldn't be sticking a clone trooper in every mining camp, though, either.
No.
Imagine that during this, boot is still being slowly winched up from the
I
point.
assume by the time you were talking, you're already back up. But
No. Well,
Well, he hasn't been talking, so he's still clearly still down.
Well, no. Like I said, can't do anything about the separatists right now until the armor arrives. So I'm trying to think of what we can do to help the people. Like I said, if we were to set up, like a shuttle service, not that way means clearing out landing pads and whatnot, but that also requires security. Security means we need to bring in troops and maybe start setting down patrols. We probably have to have set patrols through the canyons, which might come to conflict with the runners.
might be just better to start with a command post and then to see how that goes.
Yeah, well, if we set a command post, we probably might as well just set up a full forward operating base, and then all of a sudden we have a sizable military presence in your quiet town. Not all locals like that.
Well, I reckon most of my customer base is big wigs from down in the Delta. They would prefer to have the feeling that they're paying tax dollars for safety, and they don't always. Though I will say the marshals are somewhat attentive.
Right.
But sorry, I've gotten a lot of questions from the old dog marshal asking around. No, I don't know where the canyon runners are hiding, Mr. Marshal. They could be hiding in any number of places. No, Mr. Marshal, I don't keep canyon runners in my house. That's the point. They don't stay in our houses anymore. But, they'd also probably want to feel like they were in control. So, probably want to get everybody in a nice big, invite all your big landowners to a nice big town hall meeting, and then make them think it was their idea. That's how it works in the service industry. People got to be sensible, but you got to make them think they're in charge. When actually, I am in charge. Or in this case, you would be in charge.
That makes...
The canyon locals, honestly, well, you'd have to be careful about patrolling. I don't know how quiet y'all are, but people, work hard, sleep hard. Sun up, sun down some days, breaking rocks, pulling out heavy metals, filtering salt. Let me tell you, prospecting salt is not a very fun job. Murder on the skin as well. But they won't mind feeling safer. Like I said, if y'all can scare off a couple of soyverns, I think everybody will be happy. Though obviously, for both the nature of conservation and my business, I would prefer if we did not remove them entirely, for they are majestic and noble creatures that were here before us. And also, they're pretty criff and huge, and people like to see them, at least from a distance.
From a safe distance, yes.
Okay.
Hand wiggle gesture.
All right, then.
They'd probably be okay with it so long it was as low impact, but... oh, gosh, I don't know. I'll be straight with you, ma'am. The locals, they're just bored kids. Some of these guys are as young as 14 or 15. They don't even have speeder licenses. But they know how to run speeders because you can't do anything down here without knowing your way around. It's how you live. Kids are an extra hand. Some of them, I reckon, are smarter than some of their folks, even if they're not any better educated. They know how to do all kinds of things. Slicing, demo, speeders, climbing, running. Honestly, they probably know the place the best. But well, they don't got anything better to do with their time. And unfortunately, not everybody's in for the hard work. You know, when you're young, everything seems like it should be an adventure. Well, ain't nothing further from an adventure than a career as sift and salt, just like your old folks. So they act out. They run away from home. They steal speeders. They're not really criminals, not like the bandits were. I mean, sure, they break laws, but like I said, who hasn't broken a law or two in their day, you know? There's not a lot of law presence around here. That would probably be the most source of tension. I don't reckon many of them would pick a fight with a, nice, shiny, armored clone trooper. But are your she kind of turns to, sure, because Boots made a quip, we'll see that you guys are back up. She kind of turns to Boots and Camo. How would you guys respond to getting, rocks thrown at you by local kids?
Depending on the size of the rock and how well they can throw it, still probably not so well regardless.
Well, I don't think they'd do worse than throw rocks.
I'm not the type to be doing normal patrols, but if that
No,
was
I see you
happening,
too
it
good
wouldn't
for it, eh? Fine.
Clearly he has better things to do, unlike you, Mr. Boots.
No, I have the best things to do, excuse you. I have to do the menial tasks. Someone has to do them.
I thought you're the one doing the surgery.
That too. Look, I do a lot of things.
I wish talking wasn't one of them.
I said,
We both
I
know I
got-
don't get paid enough for that.
You don't get paid at all.
Exactly.
Wait,
You
I
guys
do
don't
pay
get
you.
paid?
I'm giving you a pay duck.
Shit.
Oh, good, you do
That
pay.
means you have the right to force me to be quiet. Damn it.
For a low fee, I do have rolls of a lot of routine maintenance around here is done with rolls of space tape. So just grab a roll of space tape, roll of mesh tape off her. Offer various tool belts.
Well,
Now I gotta say, this stuff is hard to come by. I'll charge you a whole credit a square inch. I bet I can make him shut up in 5.
honestly,
I'll take that
I'm
back.
just imagining Boots just strapped to the leg of the ATTE and just leaving him there.
That might take a couple rolls. How big was that again? 20 meters?
No.
spending
I'm gonna
tosses
strap
up
you
another
to the fucking bow. I'm gonna turn you into our fucking figurehead, Boots. That's what I'm gonna do. You'll be our
A
luck.
good place for my beauty.
Yes, your beauty.
Don't
Anyway,
splatter too hard.
we have a couple hours to kill before the armor rising. We can set off and everything. Oh,
Fair enough.
how much for that hot springs package?
She kind of smiles. Oh, well, it's your lucky day, man. We're running a special.
I'll take it.
Why don't we come inside?
Yeah,
And then time jump,
Let's
I
see,
guess.
we got to think about local economics.
yeah.
I mean, you probably don't have to pay up right now. She can, start a bill, open an
Yes.
account.
Yeah,
But
start
it
an
would.
account.
I'd say
Pull
it
on my tab.
probably. I mean, it's pretty. They have a pretty decently affluent clientele. It's probably normally like a fairly robust cost. Probably like maybe a K.
Mhm.
But she can do you a nice discount and probably cut some tape for maybe like $750.
I'll totally
Get it
take
down
it.
to 3 digits.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
All right, yeah. Oh, she's got a pretty full course. Actually, as you're discussing billing, basically, she runs you down like she's done a lot to improve the place. Like
Mhm.
they haven't been able to get back to gambling because like I said, licensing.
Mhm.
So they don't run sabacc tables anymore. But she's got a pretty robust plan. There's bathhouses, open hot springs, saunas. She's actually managed to either train or hire locals in basically like massage therapy type stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and like actual, study of this too, not just like amateur stuff, but like, some of it could actually be therapeutic if you're injured, kind of a thing.
Oh.
Working on general relaxation. It appears that even though the place is a little run down, the Gunstar family had a decent nest egg of money to bounce back on, and she has tried to invest it wildly since not only is she up to the relaxing part, but like I said, she herself also has a strong focus on wildlife tours, sightseeing, and extreme tourism, for lack of a better word. You know, like we said, cliff diving, cliff jumping, gliding. She'll be happy to wax about all the fun stuff she's done.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good Aramaa, roll me an average vigilance check while you're conversing with her.
Average. Got ace.
Also, are you guys doing anything in particular? Well, Aramaa buys a spa day.
Probably just looking around the area.
Nah, I'm probably just gonna be quiet and enjoy my tea.
Alright.
Well, if you guys ain't gonna do anything, you can go learn something about how this place runs and help her out.
Yeah, sure. They're like,
Sure,
look
fuck it,
around.
why not?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any specific questions about kind of the stuff they do here, I think, but we can ask that. But I've already covered a lot of our basic stuff.
Yeah.
Outline. So with your one success on vigilance, you realize, as she's chatting, that when she talks about her young days, she occasionally stops herself from saying something and redirects the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You also notice that at the moment anyway, there don't appear to be any hollows or even 2D photos of her family really anywhere, except there's one stately portrait of, should I write down his name somewhere? I might have. Hold on. Let me look if I got him. Obviously his surname is Gunstar, but I think I wrote down their dad's name.
Jebediah. No, Jedediah. Jedediah Gunstar. That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not actually seeing his name, so sure, we'll go with Jedediah Gunstar. There's a very stately picture of him. He's wearing a very wide-brimmed hat, has a very nice long coat, big bushy mustache. Looks very dignified. Actually, yeah, if you're talking about, by the way, about Conda team domestication, yes, actually, you could actually check that out, because they've got a whole pen system up here and definitely some organization. The terrain's probably not the same, but definitely you got some interesting things on the rigging, and apparently they can keep them calm enough to, you know, ride them basically up and down canyons.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you want to think about a picture, Conda teams are repto-mammals like swamp striders.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a little bit of fuzz, but mostly look reptilian. Swamp striders have kind of those broad, like webbed gecko-y frog feet.
Mm-hmm.
These guys instead have kind of like flexible, like multi-toed hooves. So think kind of a cross between a camel and a mountain goat.
Mm-hmm.
So they are lanky-legged, a little bit of a fatty body, probably got humps because they store nutrients, because they kind of, their normal environment is basically crawling the canyon walls until they can find vines and stuff to eat. Find pockets of fresh water that are not contaminated, so they can go a ways, and very, very agile.
Hey, I think when Camo's like checking out like the Constantine pens. Am I saying this right?
Yeah.
Constantine. I feel like he's gonna try to like radio in about like to like RS or like these people like that check in with them, being like, it's just a gut feeling, but to see if like the specs of Armanda's custom gun matches anything weirdly, because it's a gut feeling.
Well, I mean, it's customized, so it doesn't match as anything. She's got it on a rack in the main hall if you wanted to look at it yourself.
Yeah. Take a picture.
Go ahead, sure. Make me a. Well, this is customized. Make me a hard mechanics check.
Okay.
You're a gunsmith. You can examine it.
Feels like it matches up.
But yeah, Aramaa, do you want to comment anything about her? Particulars of her behaving?
I do, but I don't want to sound like a dick.
I mean, you're a character who does stuff. You could roll charm
I would like to.
to see if you can.
I would like to roll.
What kind of thing you want to get at there?
Lower the difficulty.
That's like. Basically, want to mention that I'm noticing that she doesn't seem like as much as she likes to speak about her youth and her family. You don't see a lot of signs of it around. Is there a reason for that?
Okay. Actually, shoot, I should have gotten my holocron out earlier, but I need to look up what charm is opposed to.
Charm is opposed to, I think, cool.
Because basically this is a persuasion type thing.
It's very much a
You're trying to find a polite way to get her to open up.
Yes.
be actually charming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Something that none of us. Well, actually, I technically have charm, but I don't know a good way of putting that in person.
No, you don't, Tubes of Clon.
Just because
I
your
mean,
charm is
technically
my
that would
queen.
fall under deception. which
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure none of
that-
you have.
I'm better at.
Cube
I
Declone
got-
is
I-
really
I-
okay.
I'd be decent at
Hey,
deception.
hey, it is opposed by cool.
Yes, got it. Okay. All right. Well, now you guys get to find out how cool Armada Gunstar is. Which is that's going to be a charm versus 2 reds and a perp.
Ooh. Well, let's see here. So 2 red perp. So that's gonna be yeah.
Good feelings.
Yes. And Malucky is rolling. Okay, 4 success, 1 threat. All right. So you examine her heavy bowcaster as best as you can without actually pulling it down and taking it apart because that would be rude.
Yeah, that'd also like make it suspicious. So
And you're pretty sure you don't want to violate your hospitality. That would be
Yeah.
bad. So, based on your estimation, you're reasonably certain. I assume what you're getting at is you're wondering if this could have done the deed. Basically.
yeah, which I'm not. I don't think it is, but I just have a gut feeling about it. Just trying to confirm it.
Okay, well, you rolled a threat, so I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't be 100% certain without
Yeah.
actually doing some test firing
Which
like,
that's fair.
to do some fucking ballistic science.
Yeah.
However, in your best estimation, you think that this is inconsistent with the damage. While this is certainly powerful enough to do it, well, first of all, this doesn't have an optic.
Fair,
It appears
yeah.
that she, iron fires it.
Yeah, it would be line of
Because
range.
she's, by her own admission, she mostly uses it to fire at Soyverns, which,
Are really
from your
huge.
understanding, are pretty big.
Huge.
You don't need
I'm
an
gonna roll.
optic to see that thing.
Well, I'm gonna let you finish with
In that case, it's like I just need the. I just don't think I need to rule out really, but it just means that there's something
Yeah,
similar to
Soyvern
this
is.
around
Yeah,
the
there's
area.
still 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know,
like,
we're talking a avian predator the size of a jet fighter.
oh Jesus.
it's like. Oh, so it's like why can't they have like a Rathian?
Yeah.
It's
like
like
a
smaller,
rocket,
it's a
really.
bit smaller than a Rathian. Jets
Like
are
a
big,
Chow,
but
like
they're not that big.
You're looking at something that's probably got, Yeah,
Got
okay,
that.
I've got it in my notes. Can at full maturity they reach between 15 and 20 meters long.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she, by her own admission, she uses this gun to, maybe hunt them is the wrong word, but to fire at them for an effect. So it's
Dissuade.
powerful. Yeah, it's a persuasive device.
Yeah, just making sure, but it basically means then what we're looking for is
So like, yeah, I would say
some,
you
like,
can't be
overlooking
100% sure, but you think that this is probably the wrong style of weapon. You remember the commentary from earlier that RS said that it didn't look like there was any energy scoring. If it's actually based on a bowcaster, and admittedly you haven't seen her fire it, bowcasters are a hybrid weapon. They fire solid metal or other corals which are enveloped in plasma, so they have
okay.
a lot of kick to them because they're basically energized slugs.
But they leave no trace of firing next to them.
Yeah. The thing is they use corals or bolts, so the whole
Yeah.
material is ejected. So that would be consistent with no forensic evidence. But like I said,
Yeah.
you can't be 100% sure. You think with 4 successes, you think that this doesn't have the right kind of penetrating power,
Yeah.
but bowcasters can also accept alternate ammunition. So you can't be 100% certain without actually like doing ballistic science.
The one thing is how hard it is to get a Vulpine Shatter Rifle.
Oh yeah, Verpine Shatter rifles are a thing, but
Yeah.
also maybe what you're dealing with is not 100% a Verpine Shatter rifle. either.
Yeah, which is like what it was something else to figure
like
out.
a-
But
yeah, it's a
something
close
to-
estimate.
Okay,
Something to know, right?
so you have rolled your check. The
Yes, I
audience
rolled
has
my
seen
check.
it already. You got a triumph in there. You've got a whole bunch of force points. How do you want to distribute them?
I will be distributing 1-5, so it'll be 3 success, 3 advantage, and 1 triumph.
Okay. All right. So you kind of like gently are like, hey, so you talk a lot about your your family and your family legacy, but I notice you're skipping some stuff. Do you got a reason for that? And she kind of, with your triumph, she kind of shyly smiles and scratches her head, and she's kind of like, oh, I'm that obvious, am I? All right, ma'am. Well, you seem nice enough. I'll be straight with you. As I got another reason to want a couple extra hands out here, so I can go out wandering. And I think if I go out, I might be able to solve our collective hooligan problem. You see, she actually pulls out a little locket tucked under one of the many bandanas she's wearing. Pops out a little hollow. You see, it's got a double-sided, and one side is the miniature version of the portrait of her dad, and the other there's looks like you would say 2 sisters. One of them is probably Armanda, and the other is a smaller version of her with a different haircut, maybe twin tails to show that she's spunkier and feistier. Well, it's my sister Harley. That's spelled with 2 I's, by the way. Space.
Of course.
2 eyes instead of a Y.
She's a few years younger than me. So she doesn't really remember the short good times before things got tough. Well, like a lot of the kids around here, she's not really invested in the whole, hard work thing. So a few months ago, she tore off out of here on her own, left a note, stole one of my swoops. Actually, probably no, stole one of my gliders, or borrowed. I don't know. I guess if I retroactively decided it was okay for her to take it, is that more of borrowing?
There's actually a term for borrowing without intent to return. What is that?
Gosh, I'm sure my lawyer droid knows. Concierge dictionary. Yes, one moment, ma'am. Concierge does a lot of things. He's nice. Though I've had to rebuild him a few times. Daddy says that at one point the bandits tied him to the back of one of their swoops and dragged him through the canyons for a couple hours. So he's not all right in the head at all times.
Jeez.
They were rough times. But yeah, she doesn't really, remember the good times we're trying to reach, so she cut off. And well, I mean, to be fair, as you've seen with me, we Gunstars, we're a fiery stock, adventurous, and she's spent as much time running up and down the canyons than I have, and I guess she's popular because she's, last I heard, she's, I don't know if in charge is the right word, but the canyon runner gangs listen to her. And she's good at what she does. Good at the family business. By which, by the way, I mean flying, climbing, and shooting. She does count with 3 fingers, by the way. Never was very good with animals, but I think that's a patience thing. So I would, if there's some real dangers out there, I'd love an opportunity to go out and try and run her down. But, she probably needs a little bit of her space, and I mean, if I don't keep the business running, there'll be no home for her to come back to.
Oh, family.
Always gotta look after your family.
Yeah, you always gotta look after your family. Well, if by some chance we're gliding around and we have to somehow set down somewhere and you have to go talk to somebody, well, I guess that's how the tour goes, I guess.
Fair enough. And I mean, if she's being a little snot, she kind of unspools her electro lasso. It's not.
The canyon.
She won't be the first rowdy thing I've wrangled.
Okay, now I just want to go to see that happen. Maybe I can do it to Boots one day.
Please no.
I'll teach you some
Oh,
dodge, boss.
there's a particular skill in using the electro lasso. She does a couple, basic lasso tricks.
Ah, good. You can't learn those skills. I should be hopefully fine.
Well, it's either that or I punch you, Boots. What would you rather prefer?
Honestly, let's see, a punch or a shock to my systems and nerves. I wonder which one I'll take.
Oh, you don't have to deploy the shock. That's for discipline. Mostly it's just a cable. Wrap them up. Also good for climbing.
Yeah, hold on. You say discipline. Considering the conversation we've been having, I'm pretty sure it's going to be all discipline. So.
It depends on severity. You'll be lucky most of the time, probably.
Oh, it's electro lasso. It never hurt nobody none. I mean, in a lasting, meaningful sense. I suppose I did technically hurt myself a few times, but that's just hitting yourself in the face. You never done that before?
I've almost
But now I
thrown
can
a
do
grenade
this.
at myself.
Cha!
Yeah.
She throws it out, grabs a pot plant, pulls it back, catches it. I have been practicing this literally all my life.
Sorry, I'm thinking that one bit from fucking JoJo Part 4. The guy just gets hit by the fucking pot plant.
Now, the unfortunate problem is I cannot use the electro lasso to put the pot plant back. So she walks over and puts her pot plant back.
Itself.
Alright, but... Okay.
On the other hand, if you were looking to narrow your search, the people who would know the weird back canyons the most would be the runners.
I had a feeling that was going to be the case.
Well,
By this
I
point,
I
I'm
mean,
not surprised.
the problem with just searching it yourself is you'd have to actually get a bunch of unruly kids to talk to you. But
well,
you seem to have an even hand with children.
I think
Point-looking
boss
boots.
has dealt with it.
well, I think
We seem to be kindred spirits, I believe.
I think we probably have a better chance
if you're
of talking sense to them.
with my sister.
Wait, what was that?
What?
She mutters something violent involving to the effect of "You better not be a kindred spirit with my sister."
No thanks. Not for me.
Oh no. But well, honestly, that seems better off that we should just go see the gang with you. Honestly, probably having someone who understands them would probably do a lot more. And well, we've already taken a glider tour, so as I said, but if we have to wait a night or so to actually set up the operation, well, I'd rather what's the adage? Aim twice, shoot once.
But what if you could just? Oh, you're speaking metaphorically.
Shoot 3 times.
Yes, that's the thing we Jedi like to do. We like to speak broadly.
I gotta be honest, ma'am. I've heard stories about Jedi. You and your friend are not very much like it.
Well, you spend several months fighting a war that you're never supposed to get in, and you change a bit.
I was
Yeah,
made
sounds
for
familiar.
this.
Oh, did you come out of the? Gosh, I want to say the womb, but I don't know how that worked with clones.
Technically, it's test tube, I believe. Factor tank? I don't actually remember off the top of my
All right,
head.
did you come out of the tank this sassy?
No, that came from basic.
It used to be quieter, I assure you.
Yeah, it used to be like you, and then it got better.
Now, I think Mr. Camo is quite the professional.
It's because he stays quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see? I can agree with you on that. He's way more professional.
And that's
Doesn't
why,
mean I ain't gonna sass him about it.
And this is why Boots gets pushed off cliffs and strapped to the front of mechs.
I
Ooh, we're
say we
going.
start.
I'm going bungee coding again.
I-
Booth.
I'm wondering if he wouldn't survive without the cord if we just made sure he landed on his head.
Don't. You'll break
No,
the
we need him.
rock.
Besides, we need
And
his hands
listen,
stable.
I thought Soyverns had thick skulls. Like this over here. She points at a Soyvern skull
Oh wow.
standing over one of her doorways.
Maybe those are actually my kindred spirits and not the runners. Just the Zoyphones.
Let's not.
You're
find
definitely
out.
loud enough.
Oh boy, and are they loud. Actually, you should probably...
There's one of their own.
I will tell you, actually, I should warn you if you're going to go out there, you got to be careful. Soyverns, they make a particularly loud hunt and shriek. High-pitched with infrasound. Makes the Conda teams and other pack animals freeze up something fierce most of the time. Humanoids don't always freeze, but if you're not expecting it, you can have a variety of reactions.
Sounds like a make.
Usually I just use earplugs.
We have some sound protection.
Okay. So let us relax.
By the way, I don't know how big the head of a 15-meter long apex predator would be, but it's probably pretty big.
It depends
Very
on it depends on how long their neck is.
They probably got a decent amount of neck.
And then it's probably like a medium-sized head. The longer their neck, the shorter the head usually. I mean, the smaller the head.
Probably enough, maybe not, fit you and eat you in one bite, but you could definitely fit all of Boots' upper body inside that mouth.
We might have to test that later.
Oh, like a gamma hunter, or hunter gamma.
Man, this thing doesn't even have free dental. It's awful in here.
I
By
say
the
we
way,
time
I
jump
should
in.
note, you probably do note that the two canine teeth in this skull appear to be missing. But the color of the teeth perfectly matches that lovely handcrafted knife that Miss Gunstar is carrying.
How much?
I had a
Not
feeling.
surprised.
How much you want to bet that her sister's carrying the other one?
I wouldn't be surprised.
My God, it's almost like I know what I'm doing.
But how
I'm
about
gonna
we get
quote Curtis Takahata Arnott quoting somebody else. I've heard of other writers who use subtlety. They're all cowards.
I've also heard of all those good writers that use foreshadowing. They're cowards.
Cowards. Anyway. So
I mean, Boots already guessed the.
yeah,
the
no,
thing there.
he got that.
I mean, just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's bad.
Well, no. But
No, I didn't say
there
that.
was
I just
adequate
said
foreshadowing.
I knew, I had a feeling.
Anyway,
No, I know.
Anyway, so I guess like all we can really do is make small talk, enjoy the resort, and wait for the armor to show up, because otherwise we're just gonna be talking about absolutely nothing and taking up time.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay if we just kind of like jump to when they're here or when we're just start going out, I guess.
Yeah, so Aramaa basically makes small talk and has a fucking spa day. We bicker.
It's very relaxing.
Very relaxing.
Do you guys have any strain?
Do I have any strain?
I have like one or something.
You guys should all take care of any strain you got.
I do have strain.
Get rid of it.
I have
Count.
0 strain.
Anybody got any wounds? I don't think
No,
so, but just in
zero
case.
Let me
Fine.
double check. It's been a while since I've healed or anything. I've got 1 wound.
You should probably get rid of that. I think you would have got rid of
Yeah.
that for a night's rest anyway, but lounging around in a spa doesn't hurt your healing.
All right, so spa day. We have made plans for some expedited, I should say, urban renewal.
Well, suburban renewal, maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's farms. We're probably thinking about like some transportation, mostly transportation and security measures, and then maybe
Yeah, actually, that would probably definitely not an urban renewal, but that's definitely a good public works project to put in here.
yeah,
Get yourself a new skyport, mark some sky lanes.
because that's like hearing that's the main problem is it's not necessarily that things are bad. There's just no one's here.
Yeah, you need to revitalize tourism and let everybody know it's safe.
Yeah. And then because I just like the fucking Clifftop House, I will personally put investment into that and hopefully get it up. And
Also,
then-
you should, since you have your own one, you should probably find out whoever issues gambling licenses, and if not, actually just turn him upside down and shake him. Just ask some pointed questions.
Just do give Armando a few favors in return for all this.
Well, no, I guess. Well, like I said, honestly, we're scratching each other's backs here pretty well. If everything is up and up.
Yeah. If you actually talk to her about stuff because you're making small talk, she'll probably wax a little bit about the canyon runner culture and basically.
Oh.
You guys probably would have figured this out on your own, but since you did manage to convince her to open up, you got a very nice triumph in there. Basically, she's like she said, she's concerned, but she has to be the older sister, right?
Yeah.
You do hear it come out that they don't know the exact details, but they don't really remember their mother, so she has been dead or out of the picture since they were very small. So it was just dad, and now dad's dead, and she inherited the whole business. So, which much like how back in Old Dog, kind of in that border region between Ibrisky and Efiana, Nietzsche was kind of the informal mayor. You get kind of the opinion that mostly on her family name, but Armando's probably one of the wealthiest people in this parish, and is seen as a very informal leader. There's a lot of cachet with her name because obviously they were running a big business for several generations.
Now I feel
Which,
really
by the way, is
bullied.
also probably why the kids listen to her sister, because they're like, well, she's respectable, but also she's rebellious like me. She's a respectable rebel. I'll listen to her.
Well, like I said, it's good for us to get chummy, I guess.
But yeah, basically, she basically waxes a little on the canyon runners. They're mostly hooligans, daredevil stunts, childish vandalism, canyon racing, petty theft,
They might still know
swoopjacking, disturbing the peace. Might occasionally blow something up or set something on fire. Like they said, this is mostly mining areas, so you're gonna run into some people who know how to handle their space dynamite. But they're young and they're disenfranchised, but not fully. Like it's not like they're homeless kids or like urban gangs of youths where all of our authority figures are in jail and whatnot. Like they're
bored.
Rebellious youths who are bored and don't have any outlets.
They have hormones.
Yep.
And they don't really, like I said, they don't really have any good place to do with it. Like there's, as established, you guys founded the only militia game in town, and that's miles from here, and would not work with the current setup. Also, I'm pretty sure Aramaa would not be okay with handing a 15-year-old kid a gun.
No.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Maybe giving him a fake gun and setting up some ROTC training,
yeah.
But no.
Not high enough brow.
If you want to think long future, you probably need to put a technical or a vocational school out here or something. Because
Actually, what is our educational?
these
fucking
kids
shit
have skills, but let me tell you, public education on Soholiv is probably not great, and especially not out here in the Fire Canyons.
God.
Everybody's probably, even the rich people are probably making do with tutor droids and canned lessons.
No. God damn it. Fuck.
We gotta make a fucking...
Arma, do you have to
economic
help
data.
these kids?
I have to help these kids.
I have to help.
Let's go
these
meet the kids.
No, I'm gonna adopt them all. They're all my kids now.
Let's go meet them first. Let's go meet them first.
Listen,
So,
listen.
honestly,
Arma-
basically, she explains to you, if you're thinking about, you probably asked some questions because you've had some experience with, gang enforcement. Oh, yeah, no, they don't have to worry about, food or whatever. They either just beg, borrow, or steal, or, a lot of these kids are runaways. If they really get hungry, they can just fucking go home.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do.
We need education and entertainment out here. Jesus. Well,
It feels like that's the main
force.
problem with Solo.
Well, like I said, they're right. We have been focusing mostly on more Iridu because honestly, we don't like I said, you can only protect so much. We really can. And
New you also you have to know about problems.
yeah.
And from a meta context, I will obviously tell you that nobody's pushing too hard because it would be super unfair to me. You haven't expressed any interest in this region when I wrote this region 2 weeks ago. But no, there are definitely new and different opportunities. Like, if as from what you understand, these people have technical skills. You know.
Actually, if
Also, they have a lot of local knowledge.
I feel like we should go meet them and then maybe see.
Well,
what
we
witness
are gonna
they
go
know.
meet them because honestly, it's the best thing to me. But I'm trying to think: do I want to
Yeah.
build like a school here and a school in More Iridu, or once we get the transportation, just set up a school in More Iridu and just have them travel there? Maybe do some dorms and stuff so they can get
Boss,
what?
it might be better if we determine that after we resolve the separatist bombings.
Listen, Camo, the separatist bombing is going to be solved.
Yeah.
That's a solid Aramaa promise right there. I'm going to take care of that problem. I need to think about next week's problem because I don't know what I'm
Okay.
going to do about that yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are going to go in there, blow up a bunch of stuff, punch a lot of droids, and maybe, you know, find some big secret that we will probably steal for ourselves.
Gosh, I like her.
So steal for
Are
ourselves
you guys
or
always
destroy.
so direct thinking?
No,
Yeah.
just her.
It's what gets stuff done.
Yes. The problems that bother me is the ones I don't have direct answers for. I know what to do with separatists.
Fair enough.
And a
boss.
good clank is a deck clanker.
For that.
So
I just want to think as Boot says that. I just want the concierge droid to just roll up next to him and be like, "Another tea, sir."
Oh yeah, thank you. By the way, when I say clanker, I don't mean him. I mean separatist clankers. There's clearly a difference.
Of course, sir.
Now, like, all of Star Wars is robo-racist because it just kind of is.
Oh yeah, no, I'm only robo racist against separatist droids. Those
Well, it's because they
fuckers.
tried to kill you many times before.
But all right, so we continue waiting for armor. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think you killed enough time. You
Yeah.
can probably get your armor.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of
Just
armor.
some gunships, probably a little, maybe not low and slow, but definitely a little close to the terrain, a little cautious. They cruise up, and you know, dump an AT-TE. They don't do a full tactical drop. They're nice. They you know, hover it, they back it into place, they drop it in empty pasture.
Get the saber tanks set up. Get the ships dropped.
The tank column probably followed them in on the ground level.
But the canyon runners are like, what the fuck is happening? But yeah, we'll get the moons. I'll get the clones out. I'll be like, all right, this woman here. I do the Will Smith, you know, double arm.
Huh?
It's like, we're going to be assisting her for a bit so she can assist us. So what she tells you, for temporarily, what she says goes. Is that understood?
Sir, yes, sir. Snappy salutes.
And turn to Armanda and be like, all right, tell them what you want. Tell them what you want to do. What you want them to do.
She kind of, you know, adjusts her probably jacket she's wearing over her climbing gear, and it's like, oh, all right, this is good. You sure you paid these guys? Not a lot of lip. All right, okay. Let's see. Kind of looks him over. All right, how many of y'all are good shots? Raise your hands. You know, some of them raise shots. You probably got some marksmen out there. She's like, all right, you go stand over there. Any of you good with animals? Everybody at this point basically raises their hand. It's the swamp dogs. You've been doing swamp spider drills for I think like 5 or 6 months. at
We
this
have a
point.
cavalry unit by this point.
We do have a cavalry unit.
You have you know, dragoons basically. You know, mounted infantry scouts. She's like, all right, okay. Gotta break that down a little. And basically to avoid too much extra, she kind of breaks them down into 3 groups. One she actually like intersperses with her own animal handlers in case there's a panic or a problem or they gotta move. The guys she takes as good shots, she basically, you know, makes sure they're armed with something spicy, so they get marksman weapons, snipers, your big DC-15s, maybe a couple of rocket launchers, who knows. and basically distributes them around nice vantage points around Clifftop House, because there's some scenic overlooks, some balconies, some photo spots, that kind of stuff. And basically like gives them all the warning signs to look forward to Soyverns. And also conveniently, that also means they can look out for any separatist activity or anything.
Yep.
Because that's what you wanted. You wanted vantage points. So she moves them to the place where they can keep a lookout for both you and her. And then you're left with a third block of troopers as just gophers. And she's like, well, I don't really need these guys for anything in particular. If they're good with a paintbrush, I do have some painting I need done.
Sorry, Arma's gonna grin and just be like, and then just yell out, "Congratulations, boy! You're away from more hairdo, but you all still get to paint."
Still like, yay.
Yeah.
That one guy who's like taken up artistic painting like rolls out his watercolor set. And he's like,
I've been waiting for this.
My time is now.
He's like, well, General, I do think a nice watercolor of the waterfall would go perfectly in your office. I think it would really bring the room together. And they're like, brushes? What the fuck have you been reading? It's called culture. Get some.
Nice going, Chroma.
There we go. Like I said, don't worry. They are very well turned to our man. They're very well acquainted with painting.
Good. Yeah, so basically she takes the third block of your force to do gopher work.
Okay, cool.
Minor technical stuff, varnish, paint. Honestly, she probably grabs some of your engineers to like do basically military engineering, but repairs. Fix floors.
I will insist that we leave some to actually stay with our armor though.
Oh yeah, she's probably not pulling any vehicle crewmen.
Okay.
And I would assume you would have pre-divided and be like, hey, I need a minimum of this force, so I'm going to need this many boys. Yes. So yeah, this is basically out of your volunteers that you have free. She basically splits a smaller group up among her animals to basically mine them.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, she... you've been pretty upfront about this, so she turns it into a double-headed relationship. She makes sure to get some of her animal handlers over there and actually teach those guys how to handle conda teams.
Cool.
So that they can be familiar with the animals. Because while they're not as fast as gliders, they can carry a lot more work. I believe I posted the stats earlier. They have Beast of Burden 10.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So they have...
Fuck.
Yeah, they have 10 extra encumbrance.
Damn.
On top of their natural encumbrance threshold.
Yeah.
And they have the swift talent, so they don't worry about difficult terrain. So they will not obviously be as fast as a swoop bike or a glider, but they are still fairly robust and useful. So they've got some opportunities if you need some additional low tier scouting.
That's pretty good, honestly. Nice mount.
Yeah, they're fairly robust animals, and they're a domesticated strain, so
Neat.
they are trained and easy to train.
Well, like I said, I don't know if they'll do what. Well, we are on a mesa, or a plateau. We're on a.
Yeah, they're probably not good enough to import. But just especially if you're setting something up out here, like that'll help and gets you some free training. So she puts some as animal handlers, basically.
Oh yeah,
mind the pack.
Yeah, honestly, we can make a second cavalry. We can make the fucking Constantine cavalry, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, if you're doing patrols, it's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Better than on foot.
Mm-hmm.
Not that at this point. Not that they were not necessarily alpine units before, but not at this point that everybody in the Swamp Dogs hasn't gotten a little bit of rock climbing experience at this point,
Yeah.
But it's easier if you do it on the back of, like I said, a mountain camel, basically.
Mm-hmm.
She sets up recon guys who can do your recon job and her recon job at the same time, and then the forces she's left with, she's actually going to directly employ towards your civilian outreach and urban renewal programs. by which I mean they're gonna paint fixtures, fix floors, walls. You know, she doesn't need a literal barn raised, but they can raise some barns. That kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Fix the pipes. So you've got your recon team left. How's everybody doing? We've been going for about 3 hours.
I'm still
I'm
okay.
kinda-
I've actually woken up
I'm-
now.
I'm actually kind of like
I
full of
can
energy.
still-
I've actually really excited to do a thing.
Yeah, it sounds like
I
everyone's
can-
getting into
I
it.
can still go.
Okay, all right.
In,
Yeah, just ask.
Like
wanna make sure.
I've literally been like
I-
walking around my room
I
trying to
can
keep
say
myself
I'm a
contained.
tiny bit on the tired end, but I can still go.
Well, yeah, we won't go for too much longer because it's already like 10 p.m. for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can go for a little bit more, is what I was saying. Because
Yeah.
if everybody was still low energy, I'd probably call it here. But okay, let's actually do some work.
I feel
Role
actually
playing is
impatient
fun,
for
but let's
so.
get some jobs done. Okay. All right, General. You've got you guys came with 3 speeder bikes. You've gotten 8 more because the LATs came with them. You've
Okay.
got your 3 saber tanks as a light armor column.
Mhm.
You know, they're fast attack tanks, and you've got 1 heavy armored walker, which I believe is speed like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Speed 1, yeah, but it's very solid. Armor 4, hull threshold 40.
Mm.
So that's your big heavy gun.
Mhm. All right.
So how do you want to go about your deployment of your forces now? Do you want to hop on some gliders and go off on your own first?
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that Armanda probably knows where. Well, even though she's probably been talking, saying to Marsha she does it, I'm pretty sure she has a better idea of where the canyon run-ins are. Because like I said,
Yeah, I
if we're gonna like I said, I'd rather aim twice, shoot once. So we need to go see the canyon runners. Gliders sound interesting. But real
Yeah,
talk,
you'd get more altitude out of it.
yeah.
Uh,
And we definitely, yeah, and Webu is right. We do not want to roll up and like,
Yeah, that's like full authority fear.
yeah, we do not want to roll up like we are the fucking law.
We are the
it's the
police.
cops.
Scapa.
Scapa Montgomery.
Book it.
So obviously, because this is an Imperial vehicle, it's not literally that. But I'm Discord. Are you gonna let me post? Go. The stats will be similar. They don't have any weapons, and technically they can take a passenger because a guy can ride on top.
Oh wow, +3 handling. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, that's kind of like I said. This is what I'm thinking of for the general outline of the stats. They're not armed,
Figured.
but they're light. Now they are fragile. Do note they only have like 1 hull trauma.
They are
But
+3
they're-
handling. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, these things are repulsor assisted gliders. They are quite agile, quite nimble. The pilot hangs on the underside and has full control. You're strapped in, and there's a open space on the top where a passenger can basically bolt themselves to the top and strap in.
I did a good
Um,
combo with my jetpack.
And she's got probably a half dozen of these things free. Maybe more if you waited for some rentals to come back or did some maintenance. And you can fit 2 people in there. So how do you want to break up how much force do you want to bring, and how do you want to break them up?
Well, let's not go in force. Let's just take Armanda and the main peeps. So each take a glider, I guess.
This would obviously be pilot planetary. So how do you want to break up driving?
I have 10. Wait, actually, hang on. Do I want to awaken a force power? Hang on, I gotta open up my menu. I have to meditate. I have to look at.
Hold on, I need to stand by this campfire.
I need to stand on this really weird arcane circle.
Yes. Because I gotta check. I gotta see how. Because fun thing about enhance.
Well, yeah, pilot planetary is the first one in that train, I think.
And I think I'm
Yeah.
up to the right
Actually, it's
before.
after coordination,
That's,
I believe, but it's still
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
early.
it's
It's
after
before
coordination.
space for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, I'm
five.
gonna spend. If
It's
you do not
5.
mind, I'm going to spend 5 XP because I believe that's all it costs. I should double check
Yeah.
that though. Just-
Yeah, Marth just said it's 5. I'm sure.
Yeah. If Marth
That's
says
a
it's
5er.
then I'm going
It's
to
pretty
buy.
much 5 until you reach the control for agility or brawn.
I'm gonna buy it because
If you reach that for brawn, holy shit.
I could reach it for brawn. I just
Would that double up for you doing brawl and brawn?
no. Well, yeah,
Or-
but here's the
I
thing.
mean, yes, but no, because it's commit 1 to increase your brawn by 1, so
Yeah.
you'd roll 1 less die, but your brawn would be just straight up 1 higher.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it'd be like a higher trade-off. Interesting.
And so yeah, I'm gonna add. Now I can add force dice to athletics, coordination, planetary, and resilience checks. Pilot.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna try.
Pirate planetary.
I'm not trying to steal your stick, but I wanna be able to at least, if I remember correctly, to
Well, yeah,
cat.
you're not buying points in it. You're just like, I want to be able to do this on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like let the force guide me.
Force, take the wheel. Wait.
Yeah, besides
after
you
life.
don't have to really have the talents
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. All right. So, Camo can operate his own glider.
Yeah.
I will operate my own glider.
Okay.
Wevu can
Oh,
obviously operate her own
yeah.
glider.
Yeah, I have at least 2 points in it.
Just leave
Thanks.
boots awkwardly.
I need someone to be with me, because I can't fly for shit.
Well, you can, like I said, you can ride not shotgun, but topside on any of the 3 other PCs.
Well, I'm gonna say you're gonna ride
Uh,
with Camo because
Okay.
Yeah, I had a feeling it would
Alright.
be Camo.
Does that mean that Skirk can ride with you?
yes.
All right. Armanda can either take her own if you want to take more bodies with passengers, or she can ride shotgun with Wevu, basically.
No,
Yeah,
it's a-
she can ride a shotgun.
Here we go.
Unless she wants to ride
So
on
yeah,
her own.
Armanda gears up. She takes down her heavy bowcaster, straps it to herself, locks it in, ready to go. Got all her gear. Takes her extra stuff, and she's like, "All right, so canyon runners first."
Canyon runners first.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know exactly where they're gonna be, but there's a few places they'll be hanging out. Oh, that reminds me. I know there's one place where they're not gonna be, and where your separatist friends, she does say it with scare quotes, won't be either. We don't need to worry about Gunman's Gorge.
Gunman's Gorge.
Yeah. You haven't heard the local story?
Armand.
That's where the fire lizards
Nebraska.
were holed up once.
Oh.
It's where they made their last stand. 25 marshals, and I think near another 50 local militia went up against 36 men. Only one marshal came home that day. That was Victor Talonspire. He's retired now. But they say he caught up to old Ariana Sarenko himself, which is saying something. She won a lot of fights. But yeah, nobody goes out to Gunman's Gorge anymore. It's almost, I guess you'd call it like a, well, not really like a
Cursed zone?
cemetery, but a memorial.
Ah, okay.
Noted. All right. Well,
Okay.
And they say the fire lizard's treasure's still out there. They never found all the wealth they stockpiled. Maybe Senriko took it to her grave. I don't hold much stock in the rumors. But I do know they stole a lot of cash, and I don't know if the marshals ever got it all back, but they might have also just thrown it in a hole. Anyway, let's glide. Woo!
Pin in that.
Okay.
all right. So, I guess
Yep.
we're gonna need to make some sort of check here.
Are we on at any sort of
Yeah, I think for
Under
flying, no.
stress?
But
Okay,
hold
okay,
on, let me scroll up. I got some notes about tracking the guys down. Okay, if you want to physically track them down, Normally, raw, this would have been a daunting survival check, but because Armanda is directly narrowing your field, we're gonna call this just a hard survival check, and take a boost die from her for assistance.
Okay, I'll do it. And expert tracker, so it'll take half the time.
Okay. What do you know? She's also an expert tracker.
Oh, cool.
Actually, what's your survival?
I got 2 in it, and I have
The
4 cunning.
2, 4.
Okay, so instead of taking a boost die, roll as if you had survival 3,
Oh, okay.
because she's survival 3.
Can I spend a point to downgrade the difficulty?
Yes.
I mean, you could. I don't really see why you need to with all those extra upgrades. Don't you want to roll 4 yellows?
Eh.
Fair enough.
I more find it more. It's like I've already
A
worked
very
4 dice,
neat
and
answer.
I find it more consistent just having like less removal.
I mean, sure, that's fair. That also means your results are less fun. That's fine. Maybe you'll still roll 5 threat and you can get eaten by a soyvern.
We'll see.
I like this disparity, by the way. I'm harsh on Axe out of character, but we're harsh on Boots in character.
Yeah.
That's just life for me.
It's just the way things go.
Mhm.
Different characters dig different graves.
Yeah.
Not that I should say Axe is a character. He's a real human being.
I sit back just watch.
I mean, like I try not to, but like I'm just bad at understanding people.
Look, Axe may have dug his grave, but Boots has built a fucking mausoleum for himself.
It's why I hope to like when we do different games, I'll try a different kind of character. But I don't know. I'm still
Roll.
He's
Roll.
doing
I
that.
know. Just-
Yeah, there it is. Wow. Yeah, I don't think your difficulty thing really mattered, Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the audio-only listeners, that's 2 blank purple dice.
So
Wonder
look,
what
there's still
the-
blank yellow there. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true. But
Yeah.
you did only roll 1 success on the green. Anyway. All right, so with her advice, you actually managed to find a place and glide in. Now this might actually involve you guys making checks. How do you want to approach? Because you guys glide up at a decent height. Because this thing has like a 10-click height max, so you guys can get up there. You probably don't want to get too high again. Sharp winds.
Yeah.
But
Good balance.
basically, she points out that there's an abandoned mining camp down one particular small, dead end canyon, where the river dried up and they left, 20, 30 years ago. But the buildings are still there because they were built to last. And points out on the scanners that there's electronic activity or heat signatures down there. So there's probably somebody camping out there now. And it wouldn't be droids because they wouldn't be. I don't think they'd be as warm as living bodies. They might still have heat, but it would not be the same thing,
Yeah.
It wouldn't be all over heat.
Yeah.
Well,
It would be much smaller. So you're looking at body signs. So basically, this is your. How do you want to do this? Are you gonna be Batman or?
I don't think we should turn.
We could Mando and just calmly walk in.
I kind of want a Batman.
He just had to say Batman.
Okay.
Well. To begin, what do you mean by Batman?
I meant just silently swoop in and land amongst them.
It's like.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I want a
weird.
Batman.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay.
okay, guys. Let me clarify this. I'm saying that's what I want to do. That is not what we
Okay.
have to do.
I'd rather. Okay.
Gotta clarify that for
Uh,
everyone.
Yeah.
So this would technically be yonder pilot planetary, basically in place of stealth because they're both agi skills.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you're not trying to spook her in particular, but I guess the one with the stats is Harley Gunstar, so this will be versus Vigilance.
Okay.
I bet she has a
'Cause-
good ability.
Shocker, they're not looking for you. They're not expecting you, so this is going to be a straight up 2 red. But remember, you are piloting the gliders, which give you +3 boost because they're
Alright.
handling +3, and I will roll for.
Do I get extra
So,
1 for boost as being
everyone-
involved, or did I take a? Do I take like a?
You don't take any pluses or minuses from that. He cannot assist you because he can't pilot. There's no
Yeah,
co-pilot
yeah.
controls, but he is there.
All right.
Okay, so that's,
I'm helping.
and I'll
Oh, that's
roll
great,
for-
me. That's fucking great.
Ha!
Oh, that's also great. Also
Oh,
great.
I roll 7.
Boost dice.
That's a very
I will
B roll.
separately.
One
for-
success, no advantage.
Thanks, Force.
You're welcome.
Wevuguk is amazing.
Waka
I'm
waka.
trying to roll consistently. Okay, so those two cancel out. Oh, that's okay. That's just another threat, so that cancels one of those. So Armada does great. Holy shit, boost dice. This is why I roll physically. So my reds came up threat, threat, and threat, like double threat and threat. So one of her yellows, because yes, she has 3 of those, is double advantage, then success, success, and success advantage. And then on the blue die, she got another double advantage and 2 more success advantages.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, let me tab back over to Discord. How y'all doing?
I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, okay. Well, you did great, Chief. And Marth says he's gonna turn one of his
So
lightning
5.
ones
And
successes.
borderline
five
almost with that
success,
threat.
5 advantage, 1 triumph. So that's.
And Aramaa, how do you want to do this?
I'm just gonna jump them all into success and just have the nice even 4-4.
Okay. All right. So even though it's probably only early afternoon, really, maybe mid-afternoon because you guys were gliding around a little bit. Basically, you guys find a small, not really a cloud bank, but maybe like a small fog bank to kind of cruise into. You know, find a little formation of mist and just kind of circle around behind him and just kind of gently in on gliders and kind of clunk down in the middle of a couple dozen. Calling them kids doesn't seem right, but definitely young
Teenagers.
adults. Because Aramaa, I gotta be real, you don't want to use the term kids because half of these guys are strapped. Like a couple of them with like light carbines, but most of them are just wearing pistols at their hip. And
Big
there's a
iron on
cluster
his
of probably
hip.
a dozen swoop bikes of various levels of repair and disrepair. Various flashy hot rodded paint jobs. It appears that they're kind of clustered around, like a not a campfire, but like a mobile cook unit. Actually, probably like a fusion lantern plugged into a hot plate or something. Cooking up some ration cans. And you just kind of all... Aramaa, do you have a one-liner?
I have to think. Oh, one liner for jumping into a camp of teenagers.
Here to make a deal you can't refuse.
Nah.
God, I
it's
can
just-
smell the hormones.
It's all like
Don't go smelling teens' hormones.
no.
Actually, yeah, that's.
Oh no! Smells like
Smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
Well, we've got an episode title.
What?
Clunk. Smells like Teen Spirit.
As soon as I finished saying that, I'm like, wait a second, there's a better one for this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys come to a gentle stop. You can fold up the gliders because they're still one, so they're,
Just put them nice and neat.
Fun.
just scooch down, and then there's some gasps and some wow. A couple of them, put a hand on their gun, but they don't really draw down because they're just mostly confused.
Mm-hmm.
One kid, spits out his thing of calf or whatever. No, wait, he can spit out his cola because Coca-Cola is canon.
Wait, what it is?
Yeah.
It's in the Galaxy's Edge theme park, so yes, technically. They had to rebrand it so it could fit in the aesthetics because that is something that Disney is actually good at. But there are Coca-Cola drinks you can buy in Galaxy's Edge at Disney World. So yes, technically, Coke exists probably.
It's like, oh,
It's wild, I know.
That was a waste of Coke.
Hello there.
Yep.
But all right, you scooch on in.
Mm-hmm.
The one person who doesn't seem super shocked but is definitely. Oh, we're in the fire canyons. The right word is ornery. Kind of spins to face you. Looks like she's wearing, kind of padded like, leather gear and stuff, the kind of thing for harsh riding or climbing. You assume it's Harley Gunstar on account of the fact that she looks a lot like her sister, just, like I said, shorter, closer cropped haircut, a little more younger, probably got some freckles, wearing some goggles. Has a bandana pulled up over her face. Also, yes, by the way, she is, you can see she's carrying the other dragon bone knife.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I got that.
Hand drops to her weapon. And, you say your line, smells like Teen Spirit, then Harley Gunstar just does her best old Western eye narrow.
Mm-hmm.
You can practically hear a Spanish guitar sting in the background somewhere.
I'll just call out, I'd match your glare, but you wouldn't be able to see it.
And then before anything kind of happens, Armada kind of steps forward and she's like, Harley, all right, listen, I know, and I won't necessarily slow us down, but there's some sisterly yelling.
Mm-hmm.
And Armada gets across the point of like, listen, these nice folks are from the Republic Army, in case you couldn't tell by the armor. At least one kid is like, cool.
Hey, while they're arguing, I'm gonna go like hang out by the hot plate and say, hey, what you guys cooking?
One of them is just like, but where's the giant robot? They have to have a giant robot. It only makes sense.
That's back at base.
Give me cool. I'll show you my lightsaber.
They're cooking some space ramen. Space
I
noodles.
thought that
Space
technically
beans.
Fairy counts as a cool giant robot.
Alright.
I mean, he can get freakishly tall for an astromech,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
but you did not bring him.
Thank
No, we
goodness.
did not.
I don't think he'd want to come.
Listen, we don't mess with fairy.
Depends. Depends on what you told him you were doing. If you told him, hey, Fairy, we're going to go hike up into the woods and possibly get blown up, he would be like, no, Fairy doesn't like this.
We'll go hunt the separatists. Want to join
If you
us?
called him now and were like, hey, Fairy, we've got strange new animals and to handle in business, we've got acreage we need you to consult on, he would be like, this is within Fairy's business parameters. I am programmed for this, yes, correct.
I wonder if
I
he
do
actually
require a
likes doing
raise, however.
I wonder if he actually likes doing farm work.
He's an agromech.
Yeah, he's an agromech.
agromech.
Like is a little weird, but it would be comfortable for him, basically.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, I don't
That's
hate
perfect.
my job.
Like, hey, it beats getting shot at. Anyway, yeah, they're just, cooking some instant food. And basically, after a couple seconds of back and forth, Armanda comes out and she's just like, listen, I don't mean to, she speaks up a little, I don't want to alarm y'all, but I've been talking to these nice Republic people, and they say that there is a separatist army hiding in the canyons, and they want to know, one, if y'all have seen anything. Well, actually, no, she would say, they want to know if y'all have seen anything, and then she turns back to Harley, and she's like, and I think y'all should stop hanging out and causing a ruckus, because you're liable to get hurt. And Harley crosses her arm, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to get hurt. And if there were any droids in these thar hills, I would take care of them, no problem. It is at this exact point that I think we're going to have a dramatic cliffhanger, as one of those swoop bikes is shot by a rocket launcher.
I figured.
Yes, I knew it.
And as you hear the hum of jetpacks in the distance,
Oh, great. Okay.
as flying rocket droids approach you. Ooh.
Also, yeah, no, I checked the text chat just then. Yeah, no, Lucky didn't say army, but I'm like, wait, no.
No, that's
There's a separatist army in his hills. I'm like, what?
You did not actually say army, but she's exaggerating slightly. I mean, to be fair, you were never specific on the big part. You just told them they were blowing shit up. So she was like, clearly the army is here. They're being sneaky army. Whatever, army.
We'll say that I was.
I'm just trying to score some
kinda hoping-
space ramen.
And
Kinda
yeah,
done
it
with it.
looks like there's. We'll set up for next time. That it looks like there's. You would say probably a dozen B2 rocket droids, which are super battle droids that have rocket packs built in, so they can fly.
Damn.
Wait, B2s, are
Um,
they super battle droids or just?
Yeah, supers.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you, killing time.
But also, by the way, they are marked in a matte black or dark gray with red highlights.
That's
How
what we're
dare.
looking for.
Alright, the gunmetal gray. So.
Having colors is our job.
And they are accompanied with, you think, some of your favorite friends, some BX commando droids, also in that color scheme.
How dare.
Who, in addition to at least one of them, looks like he's packing a rocket launcher. Appear to have some modifications built in, so they are covered in what looks like their own climbing gear.
Canyon droids.
Alpine droids.
These are called in my notes BX Commando Droid Mountaineers.
Mountaineers. There we go.
They're the Mountie unit.
They're not red enough.
Roger.
Roger, A.
Killed Loth. Loth is dying.
No.
And like I said, I think we'll call it here for tonight because it's like 10:30 and I'm starting to get a little hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know if it was rooted up, but like I kind of hoped we could get this sooner. But hey, we did fun stuff.
I mean, we were very low energy to start, and we kind of had to ramp that up with some role playing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
All
like
good
until we got like talking with like Armand, I'm just like meh, but
Yeah.
then we start.
So
That got it ramped. You guys got a
Yeah.
lot done. Some of that was just because you had good rolls, but also honestly just because you weren't an asshole. So we gotta ramp this up, and you guys are now very heavily into the A and B plot. And we'll see how it resolves next time with a
We still
fight.
got-
So
we gotta
let's see.
hope if we can do like the showdown rules or not. But
XP.
that's probably hoping too much.
Well, we'll see what
Uh,
happens.
I will give a point of
XPs.
I legit for I think like a solid like 40 minutes I was like legit feeling the like oh my god I actually am impatient for once in my life. It's like oh my god I'm actually impatient. Like I feel like we should go do something else right now. It's like oh I can't say that. It's like
Well, you didn't say it, so that was good because I don't know how people would have felt about that, but you held it in. That's solid.
It's more of like oh my god I got nothing else to say. It's
well, like I
it's kinda
said,
weird.
like I was trying at some points. I was trying to like get a move on, but like someone would say something. I'm like, wait, what was that? Hold that. We need to discuss this.
yeah. I do apologize.
There was
if I
a
did drag
decent
us
amount of
around
info
with,
dumping involved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some faffing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at no point did Boots actually have to get bungeed off a cliff, but it was funny.
Yes.
And it also highlighted something that I actually knew about this character. Like, she was written this way. The audience can know this, but it was intended from the start that Armanda would probably based on the way you guys previously acted, she would respect Camo, and she would probably think that Boots is too sassy. She's the sassy one around here. Hold on.
There's no room in this canyon for two of us.
I will say it was it's a weirdly minor big deal that Camo said no to like his commanding officer, but that's a different thing entirely.
Well, that's
it's kinda
because
dumb.
you. Well, that, as I said, that's because again, like you go forward without a plan.
Part of it
that's-
was like I was just trying to keep the pace of the session, but
Like here's the thing. If you try to take the pace, you have to keep the pace. You can't take the pace and then expect everyone to carry the slack.
Fair.
Yeah, basically you can't go in the front and then be like, all right, I've made the front. You know,
Yeah.
I did the
you
scouting
gotta be
check.
careful
no.
with that.
Yeah, that's why I said no.
Yeah.
You're in front. You do it. And then when you're like, I'm like, how's that feel?
And you were like,
Intense
I prefer
and
not to. And like I
murderous.
said, I said, well, if you guys wanted to pre-establish some stuff, you can flash back to it, but it was still kind of just like, yeah, I don't know how to phrase this. All right, fine. And then once you actually got a meeting, Aramaa took over,
Yeah.
got some stuff done. All right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
not that.
You have
much
located
XP.
the Hooligans, which is a decent chunk of the B plot.
Okay.
Yeah, no, sure. You did spend a lot of time working on getting Armanda on your side. We'll call that a tenor.
All right.
And
I feel like I'm not sure if like my motivation where it's like just me feeling like Because I personally felt it also like Camo probably want to do something else right now, but that was just me, so I'm not really sure.
Well, I don't know how that's the thing, like, because I don't know how Camo would
Or
go
if
about.
he
doing
wants to go
anything
progress,
else.
like we should go like scouting or at least like. Make a point for
I will say there were several points you were decently focused on actually doing your mission objectives and like being.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Okay, well let's get my
I have
map.
hit
Let's
the
do my map.
1K mark for experience in total.
Let's ask some stuff. And then there was like, oh well, I have a sneaking suspicion. I want to double check. Like while everybody else was fat figuring on relaxing, you were like, hold on, I want to actually make sure there's nothing going on here.
It's like, let's just cross that off
So
the
I
list.
could
so
say we
don't
could go
worry
for
about it.
your motivation.
I
Yeah,
totally-
'cause,
Yeah.
like,
I totally got.
I just wanted to
people
make sure.
counting
Yeah.
on
Was that Lucky?
me. I totally got people are counting on me.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
I'm pretty
are counting
sure.
on you more than ever.
I know it's a minor thing, but I know when dealing with the fact that like, oh, we're dealing with fighter droids, like coming in with Wevu's expertise on the aerial field would have hit their what's the motivation of air superiority?
No, it's their duty, and that'll come after you guys
Okay.
actually do some cleaning up. I'm expecting there'll be some violence, though. I don't know. You guys might decide to go around it and tackle the problem by like sneaking in, but that
I
won't
don't
be as
know.
fun.
We've brought a lot of armor. I kind of want to fucking use it.
Yeah, air
Okay,
story.
oh, trust me, baby. I'm set up for a slug out.
Air story is all about the taking off anti-air and also air-to-air stuff.
I think we're gonna be doing that.
While ground superiority is just like, hey, that big
Hey guys, guess what?
encampment
I have
there,
a special I
there.
have a special results chart for the fire canyons,
Oh, crazy.
Fun.
so I'm ready. I'm prepared.
I kind of hope we can do that. Hope we can do the big iron thing, but I hope I'm not being repetitive when I say that.
Well, we'll see. We haven't. I will tell you, there is some plot stuff there. Some of which you've skirted around, but there's some more things that I think will. Because I assume even if you like rally everybody up, you're probably gonna.
I kind of want to look into
Return
Gunman's Gorge
back
just
to
to look
something
at
that's
it, but that's
extra
something else.
stuff.
But that's just me as a player character. Me as a PC.
Well,
wanting to
and
actually-
it was subtle because Armando doesn't hold much truck with it, but I think. Was this the first time you heard a rumor about bandit treasure?
This was the first time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, trust me. I am.
You heard about the bandits, but yeah, that was something she brought up, but because of character reasons, she was subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it, like Gunman's Gorge. I'm like,
We'll look
Yeah.
at that later.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We might not.
Gunman's
We might not go
Gorge,
home immediately.
Reaper's Ridge, by the way, is the part in Gunman's Gorge.
Oh, by the
I
way,
thought about it.
Also, I'm letting you guys know. Even if we get this resolved, we're not going home immediately. We have to.
Oh, that's fair. We're
we
probably
have to
to like
do.
do
We
some
have to
like
do some. We have to do some government
paperwork.
Work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe, like,
which
actually
makes
I'll go
sense
to
because, like I
Gorge
said,
sometime.
you are tangled up right now in the A and B plots. I will not let you know how many more plots there are, but there are at least 2,
Mhm.
and you're in them.
I will-
All right,
I will
am
say-
going to cut off the recording now. I think we got everybody's. We hit everybody's EXP.
Yeah.
The operation is not complete, so we will not do duty rewards yet.
Or morality.
I can't wait to find the separate base
Ah,
and
yeah,
literally
I
blow it up. It's gonna be great.
Oh, we can blow it up.
Hey man, that's gonna be a thing. You brought demo, right?
Yeah, I did. I brought 2 shape
Oh yeah,
charges.
you did. Yeah, okay. So yeah, no,
I brought,
He-
I
he
brought
came
enough to
prepared.
he's ready to roll.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so we're gonna cut off here in the audio, the video version. Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we're going.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh, sorry. I know you guys said you could go for a little bit longer, but I'm a little.